Mic check 1 2 1 2. See if you guys can hear me in the chat. I know you guys have been waiting. All right, we are live. So welcome back to the Black Brain Trust. This is Black Car Talk episode 264, American Muscle versus German Engineering. Please hit the like button as you come in. Share the video if possible. Let a friend know that we are live and we are back at it again. One more again. Had some technical difficulties. Just came back from a meetup event. It was pretty dope. Had to travel from that location, then come back here and actually run the hangout. So, and I'm running it from my phone, which is something I've never done before. My previous device actually just died on me. So, well, it must have been dead all day. I don't know what's going on with it, but I'll have to go out and go buy another device. Maybe a Surface Book, Surface tablet, something like that. All right, let me start from the top, man. See who came in here first. Super Triz, man. What's going on, fam? Q497, what's going on? Raining Woman, good evening to you. Yep, we're gonna talk about whip appeal. Farrell, man. I'll have to check that out, man. Have to check that out. Well, peace to you. DJ Mozzie Phil, what's going on? And Ellis Jackson, what's going on? My man Paul Bryant, what's going on?
Big Mike, what's good, fam?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling, man. First time I've ever run this Hangouts off of the phone before, so we'll see how this works.
It's crazy, bro. I didn't even recognize your voice, man. I was like, "Whoa, Mike, were you tongue kissing somebody on the first date, bro? What you got
No,
going on
man.
over
You know what it is, man. Chrome. So when you hear me typically every night, man, I'm on the Chromebook,
there?"
and on my phone it's on Android. So that's probably why there's a big difference in variation of the tone. Um,
Gotcha.
I'm not sure why Chrome seems to produce the equalization of the sound, but it seems to do that for whatever reason. So I can't run Hangouts off of this and do this whole phone thing. But I think that's going to change in the next couple of days anyway. So I have a consultant coming from a company that's going to help the Black Brain Trust push through the rest of the year in terms
Hmm.
of how we do Hangouts. So we won't
Yeah,
be
that was
relying on Google Hangouts anymore.
yeah, that was kind of my question. I don't know if it's a conversation that you rather have off air. What is your plans going forward as far as the hangouts and everything?
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
if you would rather discuss that off air, not a problem.
Yeah, we'll discuss it off air when
All
everybody
right,
else
cool.
is able to join. But that's just
No worries.
a skinny off of it, man. So yeah, man. American Muscle versus German Engineering, man. Oh, Triple X, man. Let me see if I have your you know what? Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't have your email address for this inbox. Can you post your email in the chat, and then what we'll do from there is I'll send you an email from my email address. Hey, what's going on, Lady Plants? Gang, gang. Let me see
Yeah,
this.
Mike, really
Yes,
quick,
sir.
bro. I understand the whole entire thing about voices because As I told you, I had to have three major reconstructive surgeries. Actually, four major reconstructive surgeries, and after each one, for whatever reason,
Hmm.
my voice keeps getting higher and higher and higher. So basically, my from high school, I
Hmm.
basically sounded like Barry White. That was the way my voice sounded. Now I can't even fake that. My voice just keeps getting higher after every surgery, so that drives me up a wall.
Hmm.
Honestly, bro, I can't even stand the sound of my own voice anymore because I'm not used to
Well, are you a soprano?
it. Shots fired.
Nah, nah.
Awesome.
No, I got you, Triple X. You can delete your previous message. Yeah, once you get on, man, we can and if Farrell decides to get on, we can definitely go in. I think Nagone and those guys are gonna catch up.
If I hit remove, will that delete that message with his
It will
email?
it will remove that message.
Boom. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the next Black Car Talk, man, we're gonna be doing a time warp back to the 190E Cosworth evolution.
Oh, dude, I love that car, bro. That car was pure fire.
Hmm.
Car
The
was pure.
benchmark of Benz, man.
Yeah, yeah. Back then, man. Back in the glory days, when
Hmm.
when Mercedes still over-engineered everything. I was reading a article, right? So
Hmm.
one of the R&D engineers for Mercedes said they used to over-engineer their cars, even beyond the whole crash worthiness to survive high speed accidents on the autobahn. They over engineered everything. They would literally engineer the door hinges so that if you open the door, 400 pounds could be put on that door. They over
Hmm.
engineered everything, and then they said, "Well, what the hell are we doing this for?" So those glory days, I mean, bro, Germans make the best cars in the world, but
Hmm.
even German cars are not engineered to their own standards as they used to be. And then when BMW created the globalization program, everything changed after that. The
Hmm.
sourcing sourcing parts and materials and components in the country that the cars were being built ruined quality. Because if you bought any German car, no matter what country you bought that car in, it was built in Germany.
Hmm.
Now the chassis and the motor are built in Germany. Everything else is sourced locally.
Hmm.
So German quality, it's still the best, but it's not what it was. So that huge gap, realistically, honestly, it's gotten closer to everybody else. But they are still the best, but no longer miles out in front.
Well, because it costs a lot of money to run, to build something like that. You know, it's not
Yeah,
cheap.
true, true.
Yep.
And
What's
that
up,
was
fellas? My
What's
bad.
going on,
hey,
fam?
Man, nothing
welcome.
much, nothing much. Trying to stay cool in this hot ass Texas weather, man.
I thought you had air cool seats in the Benz, man.
You know I'm in my semi, so
Hmm.
but it's cold back here, so I got it blasting back here. But man, stepping out in that truck, man, 104 degrees today. I'm like, God damn,
That's it.
Texas.
That's it. Are you
You
serious?
said that's it, man. Shoot, yeah, man. I,
Bro, listen, when I was working in the let's just say the desert, literally the desert where the Arabs are, and I'll leave that at that. Bro, I remember days 125 degrees during the day.
Hmm.
That's hot, and we had to work in
Hmm.
tools and working and everything else. And at night, the same day, bro, it would go down to 40 degrees, if not colder.
Now,
You
was OSHA watching you guys over in on the continent?
No, bro. The Marines were watching us over there, bro. There's no OSHA. I mean, bro, as soon as that sun went low, literally every 10 minutes you could feel the temperature drop. When they say it freezes in the desert at night, that is facts.
Well, the desert's a different type of heat, so yeah, 125. Yeah, that's a whole nother ball game. But hey, you was in the desert.
Military says that you have to drink at least 64 liters of water, man.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, I heard that too.
All I know is this, bro. It was a completely different reality. So the stain, Mike, you
Yeah, we're gonna
take it.
start it off, man. Cause we got Triple X on there, man. What's going on, fam?
Hey, hey, what's going on, man? Peace to the panel. Shout out everybody.
Hey,
Hmm.
what's going on, Trip? What's going on,
Hey,
Trip?
hey,
Yeah.
hey, quick question, Paul, before we jump into Mustangs. Around what years or generation would you say German qualities begin to decline? Because my auto mechanic, who's an older guy, he said the same thing. The old stuff was built like tanks.
BMW started it with their globalization program. So BMW built their first factory, I want to say Spartansburg, South Carolina, I believe was a town, either Spartansburg or Smyrna. Somebody help me out with that. So um, everything was built in Germany. That was more of a final assembly plant. So there were maybe, I think, if memory serves correct, brakes and I think a few interior parts were sourced locally. It was more of a final assembly plant. But the goal was they wanted to source everything locally. So 2 to 3 years later, the cars were like 85% locally sourced because at first they were still 90% basically German sourced.
Right.
So I say all that to say the German car companies got together and the Japanese car companies because Honda opened the first plant, the first foreign manufacturer plant in America with their Marysville, Ohio plant in '90. So the Japanese and the German manufacturers, they commissioned a report. They wanted to look at why is it after 5 years in America, they're seeing more and more customer complaints about their cars. What
Hmm.
they noticed was cars that were 100% built in Germany and Japan still maintained the superior reliability. Cars that were sourced, German and Japanese cars that were sourced and built in America, they had huge problems. So their conclusion was it was American labor, American R&D for the parts. So the UAW and local companies, they basically got that report killed. And so German cars, because I worship at the German ultra speed all day, every day. German cars built in Germany are far superior to German cars that are built in America. But even the German cars right now, they no longer engineer or design them to the old standards. So prior to 9092,
Mm-hmm.
like even the door hinges. One of the like I had just told Mike, one of the R&D engineers said that they used to design the door hinges so that every door hinge could literally hold 400 pounds. So that's 800 pounds that you could put on a wide open door. That's how they built everything. Everything was over designed. The gas struts for the hood, everything was way over designed, and they said, why are we doing this? It's too expensive. We have to cut costs. So everybody followed BMW's model with the globalization program. The money that they would save um, locally sourcing parts and equipment and no longer over designing parts 100% built in Germany, it's more money back into their pockets. So at the end of the day, it was profits. So German cars are still superior to American crap, but not not as much as they used to be. And so if you get like what Mike just said, the old 190e 2.3 Evo, that
Oh
car is
yeah.
built better than any Benz built in 2019. That's a fact.
I would say the 300. I would say the 300E and the 500E were pretty well solid too.
The Hammer,
A-
yeah.
Yeah, the S500 as well. Those cars were they were like tanks. They were literally like tanks.
Yep. Yep.
Bro, do you remember the 560 SEC? To this day, I would still like to get my hands on
560
one of those.
Going good.
SEC and 560 SEL.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. The SEC was my bad boy. I love that car. And then my man Rob put it in one of his videos. Rakim, oh man, I love that car. 560 SEC. Love that
You could
car,
say the
bro.
same thing about Volvo, man. Volvo and Saabs, odd as they look, man, they were built like tanks too. You know those
Yeah.
Saab 9000, Saab what's the other one, man? I always loved the Saab 9000 hatchback, the liftback,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the Volvo 760 GLE, man. Oh man.
Those are solid cars, man. Those cars could run 1,000,000 miles. You could drive that thing damn near into a brick wall
Mhm.
and walk away without a scratch almost.
Yeah, let's get through this, man, because
Yes,
I
sir.
think we people are waiting.
Cool. Let's
So
do it.
German engineering versus American muscle. So we'll start off with the American muscle. 2019 Mustang Shelby GT350R. So this would be like the equivalent of the M4. Let's go through the starts at 67K.
Oh, is
See,
that all?
well, we'll see how long the price holds up with the C8 coming out. So 6-speed manual transmission, optional carbon fiber, 19-inch racing wheels.
Yeah.
We'll see what the power and handling is about. Brembo brakes, mag ride suspension system.
Bro,
Uh,
you know what? Honestly, bro,
mhm.
Brembo brakes, me personally, like I would source a different company because at this point you're really just paying for a name, man.
I would
Willwood
agree.
or damn, now I'm on a damn spot. Willwood, EBC, a lot of stop tech. I wouldn't even get Brembos. They're hideously expensive.
Mhm. Um, so power is from a 5.2 V8 flat plane crank.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
unusual for an American car.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think this engine is bespoke to this particular vehicle, particular Mustang, if I'm not mistaken.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Americans love the cross plane crank.
Right. I have a high opinion of this particular car. I haven't driven it, but from everything I've read and I have seen it up close and stuff and sat in it, it seems to be really, really impressive, man. It's the modern Mustang is the quality is like way up compared to like a lot of the older stuff. Like ever since they hit the 2015 of this current generation or newer,
Hmm.
it's the quality is just way up. It's a really solid car, man.
Hmm.
Yeah. Is it better than the M4? That I don't know about.
I'm sorry, but I might have to give a nod to Ford on this one, man. I think they really
Yeah,
hit this one out the park. That's for
yeah,
sure.
it's good, man. I know they got the 500, the GT 500s coming out next year too, and I
Yeah, but
think that
those things are going to be 80 plus grand, man.
yeah, it's gonna be more money though. Yep,
I saw one quote for 85K.
yeah, yeah. I've been hearing a lot of quotes. I don't know if it's finalized yet. First, I heard 74, then I seen 85, and
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. So
I I I kind of gotta go with Mike on that, bro. I kind of have to give the nod to this over the
Mm,
Beamer. Ford has really knocked it out of the park on this one. I mean,
yeah,
it's not for me personally. You already know what it is. It's not German. It's American,
yeah,
but for what you get at that price point, you
yeah,
can't beat it, man. And you know what I really like, bro? I like the styling. I have to
Mhm.
admit, I really like the styling. This thing is badass.
It's very
yeah.
masculine.
Very masculine. It looks best in a hard top.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. Beautiful car.
And the car is built to run, man. It runs. So
Hmm.
again, since I love my German cars. I would expect. I have not been inside one, but if this thing has the fake materials American cars have and the hard, cheap leather and the squeaks and the rattles. But,
Paul, hey,
if.
hey, Paul, let me say something to you, man.
Mhm.
Here it comes. Here it
Hey,
comes.
man, 'cause this is the third hangout, man, and you've been on a constant attack of American interiors, man. Yeah, I think you're more going after cars of the '90s era, man, or early 2000s. Like, what 2015 or newer American cars you riding in that has those squeaks and rattle issues? I'm just curious.
Oh man.
Real
Well,
talk, man. Not either that or maybe you just trolling me and I don't know, and that's cool. I don't mind getting trolled, but
well, I'll say this. I will say this. I don't have, other than my Tahoe, which is a 2011, I don't have, and I have not been long term in any of the new current American vehicles. I do have to give the nod though. The styling is definitely better. I will
mm,
admit that. They look better. They feel better. I would say that the interior styling, uh, they still use a lot of fake chrome. They don't use carbon fiber. They still use a lot of fake wood. The leather is hard, but I
yeah.
will say that the level of fit and finish, um, from what I see, from the few current American cars that I am in from time to time, where they are now, for me, from what I see, is where German interiors were 7 to 10 years ago. But with that said, they have come a long way as compared to American interiors, so they are a lot better. Um, I haven't. So the squeaks and rattles, that's a historical thing. I can't say that I've been in a
No,
current
no, I know
current
what you mean. Like,
interior.
I mean, you're not making that up about squeaks and rattles, man. Like, I've had mostly American cars, man, stuff from the '80s stuff, '90s, and yeah, man, they were rattle traps to the 10th degree, man. You know, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think they're really stepping their quality up with the new stuff. The interior quality is still not to like BMW or Mercedes quality, but I mean we are talking a pretty big price difference in most cases for sure.
Mm.
Well, keep in mind that they're hiring a lot of European designers as well. Remember,
Yeah,
Hyundai went after the guy who made the TT, the Audi TT, and
the
brought him
Audi
over,
TT.
and he
Okay.
he made the Veloster.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, okay.
Oh, I
That's what's
didn't know
up.
that.
Oh,
Wow.
and also, I don't know if you guys know, Ian McCallum, who was, well, if memory serves correct, his name is Ian McCallum, but Ian something. He was the head designer for Aston Martin and for Ford, but he actually came up through Ford of Europe.
mhm.
So a lot of Ford interiors, they tend to somewhat, if you look at the lines, they somewhat mimic Aston Martins. And if you look at a lot of the exterior styling, the fronts and the rears, a lot of Ford vehicles, you can see the stylistic different similarities between Fords and Aston Martins, especially with that front end, the lights, and the grill.
Yeah, that's where the
Yeah,
Fusion came from. The Fusion was
Yeah.
kind of born out of that.
Yeah, because it
yeah,
looked like the Aston Martin Vantage. The
yeah.
Vantage looked
It had
just
a
like that.
vantage
Yep.
front. You're right. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Hey, here's a question: how you guys think the R is worth the extra money over the base 350?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think if you try to do it yourself, if you try to do it with aftermarket pieces, you're gonna go way over budget from what the R is. Um,
yeah.
I won't argue that.
yeah, I don't even know any aftermarket companies, tuning companies that would actually make it in the way that we see it right now on screen, right?
Yeah,
I'm always the type of guy like I like to buy it built rather than to try and add hodgepodge pieces that don't really fit together, things like
Right,
that, man.
right.
Right,
I
right.
hate
yeah,
that shit, man.
Yeah,
yeah,
Piano
because
gaps.
you know what? Even let's say you buy the base Sting, and you buy if you buy, say, a Roush Mustang,
yeah.
for the price that you would pay for the Roush Mustang designed ground up, as
Hmm.
opposed to buying the base and then just buying parts and put it on. You know what? I mean, that's like, you know what? If you have a Honda Civic,
Hmm.
you can go that route. But
Hmm.
for this kind of money, just get a
Yeah,
turnkey, bro. Get a
Hmm.
turnkey.
yeah. Agreed, agreed.
Yeah, go ahead and
Definitely.
get it built. Because a lot
Yeah,
of times you put that aftermarket parts in, you can fuck up the warranty on the shit when you do it too,
Hmm.
if the aftermarket. So yeah.
good
Hmm.
point. Good point, Pharaoh.
Hmm.
Very true.
Hey, I wanted to add this too. I don't want to get too far off of Mustangs, but they had the C8. I got a chance to check the C8 out today. They had it downtown in the Detroit Renaissance Center. It's gonna be down there until tomorrow. I checked it out. Uh, it looks pretty unbelievable, man. The quality is way up, man. I would say I didn't get a chance to check the interior, but Paul, I'm just gonna say I think you're gonna be impressed with this one.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right, bro.
I,
Bro,
that the quality of the paint, the fit and finish, it looks like a $300,000 car, basically.
okay, bro. All I said with the C8 was I'm taking a wait and see
Yeah.
attitude. I definitely applauded GM's effort, and they've taken their time on it. They've moved it European. Clearly, I'm just
Hmm.
taking a wait and see attitude. But honestly, I am honestly ready to be pleasantly surprised.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm was really, really, really impressed with it. Like the quality, it looks like a really, really, really expensive car. So definitely, definitely, definitely. But I digress. Back to the Mustang.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. I'm liking that rear end. Um,
yeah,
I think it stands it stands out. The only thing I don't like about these GT 350s and the GT 500 is how noisy they are. Um, it's so unnecessarily noisy. Just like constant drone, you know, bangs, pops, and crackles and stuff like that. And it's like, yo, it's
That's what
six
it
in the
is.
morning, dog. I don't know if I really want to wake up the neighbors like that, man.
That's what it is, though,
that's
Mike.
what it
That's
is.
what it is, bro. I can't argue. You're right, but honestly, Mike, I
Mhm,
can't argue that. That's what
mhm,
it is, bro. It's got to be loud.
Yeah, it's raspy, crude.
mhm,
Yeah,
I mean, that's a VA
it's
power Mustang for you, man.
it's American, bro. Loud, loud, proud, rude, and crude. But
mhm.
sometimes even I have to admit, you know what? That is all right.
And it does fit in my budget of 1,200, man, a month. So,
Hmm.
hmm.
Okay, okay, okay.
Now the Porsche, on the other hand, the new 992 911 is exactly at 1,200. So,
Yeah, well, Porsche is a completely different animal, bro. I
Uh-oh.
mean,
So does that mean that
Oh,
boy Mike
go
B finna
ahead,
get
go
an
off, Paul.
upgrade?
Go off, Paul.
that's a completely different animal. Now you're talking Porsche compared to Mustang. All right, we're talking. Listen, we're moving from the JV to the varsity.
mhm,
Oh man.
Completely different animal. But at the end of the day, Porsche.
mhm,
You know, but I will say that it's. I don't know, bro. If I can't see, the thing is this. I if we're gonna compare Porsche to a Mustang, I don't
mhm,
think you can really compare a 911 Carrera S or a 911 Turbo. Well, you definitely can't compare the Turbo. Turbo is like a buck 80 in base trim.
Yeah,
So if we're talking Porsche to Mustang to this, we're talking what, the new Cayman GT4.
yeah, because that's like the
Mm.
same price as the base 911. So which of those would you get, Paul?
You already know where I'm at, bro. When it comes to the 911, I'm all about power, speed, and handling. So I would have to go for the Widowmaker, the GT2 RS.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
You
I
know,
got you.
but
I got you.
so see, I don't see that's why I can't. I don't think that you can really compare any 911 model to this Mustang. I really think you would have to look at the Cayman
Yeah.
because the the 911s are they're too expensive in price.
It's
So
the 911 is more of a grand tourer at this point. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the new 992s. Those are pretty big 911s for what they're supposed to be.
mhm.
They're really really big compared to like a 997 or a 996 for that matter. A 996 is really small compared to a 992. A 992 is just really broad, and just these big
Yeah,
shoulders.
they got bigger. Yeah, each generation it seems. I agree with that, Mike.
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
you know what? I'm wondering if that's the effect of the American market because the longer and longer German cars and Japanese cars, the longer they're in America, they become Americanized. They become wider and bigger. Europe and Japan are small countries with small roads with generally smaller people, the locals. When it comes to America, it's a big country with big wide roads with big wide fat people. So the cars tend to reflect that.
Hmm.
So if you look at Japanese and German cars from even the early 90s, they were
yeah,
smaller, they were
oh,
narrower, they were tighter.
yeah,
Now they're
Right.
getting more and more American, you know,
Hmm.
to fit big, fat, wide Americans.
yeah. It's
You know.
You don't think it has anything to do with crash safety standards?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Mhm.
You could be right on that, Mike. You good point.
yeah,
And it doesn't. I think it's more of an illusion because yeah, the car is still it looks broad, but it might be a lot of sheet metal, elusive to the eye, right? Um, because it's not like I mean the car looks heavy, but it's really not heavy. In fact, the new 911 is 50 pounds lighter than the 991.
yeah, yeah. I think I read something about it being 50 or 60 pounds lighter.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what, Mike, you actually make a good point about that because as we've covered now a few hangouts, with these modern crash safety standards, the belt lines are higher, the
Hmm.
roof lines are higher, and
Hmm.
that's all for those crash safety standards. So maybe it's just like you say, a lot of it could just be the cosmetics of it, so they look bigger, but some of these cars though, if you really follow them closely and you follow the technical specs, a lot
Hmm.
of them are physically wider
Yeah.
and longer and
Hmm.
heavier,
Hmm.
and even the interiors are not as tight because if you got into that 190e 2.3 16V Evo, and if
Hmm.
you got into the E30 M3, those
Hmm.
bad boys are tight.
Hmm.
You get into though you get into a C class or a current M4,
Hmm.
they're small, but they don't feel as tight. But I don't know, Mike. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're
No,
right.
no, no, because you might be onto something because the Charger big on the outside, small on the inside. Like, what is this thing? It feels like
Yeah,
a
it
three
is.
series.
Yeah, it does. It does. It
All right.
it has the same room as that Nissan Altima, which I can never understand. Mm.
Yeah, it's a really weird sort of perspective they're taking. Um, anyways, we're on the Chevy site now, and the Camaro ZL1, same price as the Mustang,
More
Yeah.
power, much more power.
Okay.
Camaro get on my nerves.
Why is that?
They still cannot fix that goddamn rear view mirror when you're trying to back out. It's still you still can't. You still when you're trying to back out of the curbs and stuff.
Hmm.
They still can't fix it in the angle where you can fully see that curb, man.
Oh, you mean
So
it has blind spots?
yeah, the blind spot, and then that's been the main problem that people when they did the reviews with the
Hmm.
Camaros, that's been everybody's number one complaint. They blind spot when they're backing up because they was. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Camaros. Sometimes they be having torn fenders. People be driving with them torn fenders and the bumpers.
Hmm.
So that's been like the main problem. Well, down here in Atlanta, at least, I don't know about everywhere else, but
Well,
I don't
Atlanta's a
know
basket case in itself, but go ahead.
exactly.
That's another conversation, though.
Mhm.
Could the problem be total lack of parking skills down there in Atlanta?
oh, of course. That's like the number one insurance claim. Motherfuckers hitting you while you park.
Oh yeah, and see the thing is, man, that's where American cars kind of falter, right? So even Volkswagens, I think maybe just might be the Golf R or even the BMW one in series and two series. The mirrors actually tilt down when you want to reverse, um, on your side mirrors I'm referring to,
Mm.
and backup sensors and so on and so forth for all part of the package. Whereas with American cars, man, if you bought a Camaro RS or whatever that's supposed to be, I don't even know what RS really stands for. Probably really
Rally
sucks.
sport,
Well, really sucks
rally
in my
sport.
opinion. But
Really.
the car
Oh my,
the,
oh my.
the car is just a V6 in a shell, and it's like there's no real thought put behind the visibility aspect for the car. I mean, yeah, it's a Camaro, but you're constantly seeing people like I'm referring to guys. They're constantly ducking their head under the windshield to see the traffic light, see if it changes or not.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I think you know what it is. It's a heritage thing, man. Like back in the day, rally sport actually used to mean something because it was still a performance model, man. And a lot of like, if you go back to like the early '90s and before, all the RSs was actually performance models, man. Like under the Z28 and under the SS and stuff. But it basically became an appearance package by the mid '90s, man.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
real cosmetic. Yeah, I mean, you say
yeah.
heritage. You say heritage, man. It sounds like I heard the Confederate boys say the same thing about their flags, but
Wow.
Jefferson Davis is proud.
yeah, but I think I have a guy at work who has the same exact ZL1, and
Yeah.
it looks really freaking badass, man. It makes a lot of noise though, but it looks badass, really badass, and I probably wouldn't turn it down for the right price. If I can get one for 50K, I wouldn't turn it down.
You said for how much? 50K?
Yeah, if I can get one on like a corporate discount or something like that,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't turn it down.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
that'd be a pretty badass car for 50K. Based on what I've seen of the C8 today, me personally, I don't think I would get it before that. But it's up there. It's very high on the list, though. That said,
Oh, Mike,
Yes, sir.
look at the Camaro ZL1 1LE package, because supposedly that's the top of the food chain.
CL.
The ZL1 1LE. Supposedly that's the top of the food chain.
scroll down.
Hold on a second. Give me one second.
Yeah, this Camaro is badass. Get it in yellow and put an Autobot symbol on the fender.
No, that's blasphemy, man. The only
What?
Autobot, the only Autobot, Only Autobot that had yellow, man, was Bumblebee, man. That is not a Bumblebee. I don't know what that is, man. Bumblebee was a Volkswagen. I don't know what the Camaro is supposed to be. You said ZL1.
One LE.
It's not there.
Hmm. Interesting. Maybe
yeah.
they don't.
Maybe it might not be for this year.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe it's not for 2019.
Um, yeah, all these
But I
colors.
like it though. I like it. I think it's
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah, yes,
Oh, here
it's
it is, right here, Paul. Right here, you got it.
There we go. Yeah.
that's the track
Mhm.
package. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Ford and Chevy, they got killer design for that Mustang and that Camaro. Dodge ain't doing shit.
Dodge don't even care about the track at all, man. They just threw the
They,
towel in.
they,
Well, no, no. The rumor was that they were supposed to make a smaller version of the Challenger.
Yeah, the Cuda was supposed to come back, and that was supposed to be the smaller Charger. They're supposed to make it the SRT Cuda since there's no more Plymouth, but they've been saying that rumor for a long time, man.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
They,
when they first
they,
announced that, I was actually waiting on it, but I could wait no longer.
Well, you know what? I'll say this. Keep in mind, Chrysler is owned by Fiat now, so I don't
yeah,
know if Fiat necessarily wants to go racing. It's not really in their heritage, and racing is expensive, and it's going to take a lot of R&D this at this current day. R&D is a lot of money, and I don't know that they necessarily see, like with Volkswagen, right?
Yeah.
Every single Veyron sold has been sold at a loss, and every one costs $1.5 million.
mm,
Every Chiron costs almost 2 million, and they will be sold at a loss. But Volkswagen owns Bugatti. They also own Porsche. They also own Audi. They also own Lambo. So they can eat the cost. So Bu-
and Bentley.
Bugatti exists, and Bentley. Thank you.
Mm,
Bugatti exists as an R&D exercise. So they literally piss money away in R&D, which they then spread out that tech to all the other brands that they
Yeah.
own. So I don't think that Fiat is in that same situation. So that's why we don't necessarily think, in my opinion, that's why I think we don't necessarily see racing and performance vehicles so much from Chrysler. Dodge Demon notwithstanding, which I do respect.
Well, they also don't want those cars showing up to Ferraris either. How do you justify the price on a Ferrari if your lower tier
Thank you.
brands are actually eating into their market?
yeah,
That's right. I
That's,
forgot
that's
Fiat does
a good
own
point.
Ferrari.
Yeah. Man, Ferrari really, really, really got expensive, man, in the last few years or so. I mean, they were
hmm
never cheap, but goodness gracious, man.
Hmm.
yeah. You get them brand new 458s and 88s, man. Them shits
They
like
like
over
300.
350,000. I'm like, damn.
Wasn't the 430 wasn't that like 160, 170,000?
Yeah.
Yes, it
hmm
Yeah.
was.
Yes,
And
it
It
then the
was.
was.
458 came out, it was like 250, and now the 488 is like 300.
What,
hmm
bro? The 812 Superfast is closing in on $1 million now.
Is
Yeah,
it? But the
Yes,
812?
the
yeah.
812 Superfast is closing in on $1 million. It is expensive, but you know what? I'll say this: when Luca de Montezemolo was CEO of Ferrari. I was reading an issue of the Rob Report one day when I was in the office 20 years ago, and he said, listen, Ferrari will never make an entry level model. An entry level Ferrari is a used Ferrari. That's your entry for most people into the
Is that what
Ferrari
he
brand.
said? Wow.
That's
No,
what
Yeah.
he said.
and Ferrari Financial will finance any Ferrari that's available in the world. As long as you can put the money down, their banking system would actually finance any Ferrari, whether it's used or new.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
Oh,
the low grade used one today would be their low one is the California T, which
mhm.
really should be down there in the 60, 70 grand. That shit has no business being no 140, 160,
Was it
man.
like 200 or something?
It's 200, bro.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's a
200,
four
but
it's a it's a four
unused
seater.
one.
yeah, Portofino, Ferrari Portofino.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Might
Yeah,
as
this
well call it a two-seater. There ain't no room in the goddamn back for the four-seater of that California team.
No, that's for kids, man. It's really designed for women who are new moms and stuff like that who want to maintain that status, that lifestyle. Those
Uh,
Hollywood sort of
right,
Mm,
families.
yeah,
And
right.
that's where those cars really go to.
Yes, sir.
And when they don't typically buy them, they actually just lease them. And
yeah,
Ferrari has unlimited mileage on their
yeah,
leases too.
leasing.
So
Yep.
mm,
as long as you can
Now,
afford the maintenance.
what I'm about to say may be blasphemy
Hmm.
because this is an American car. It pains me to say this. It
Hmm.
pains me to say this. But honestly, at this price point, it's a better deal financially wise. I can see how this car right here in this trim package, the ZL1 with the 1LE track package, I
Hmm.
can see how this is a better deal than a Porsche Cayman GT4. Not saying I prefer it, but financially, if you're cross shopping based on money for the performance that this car is giving you, I think it's a better deal. If you're only looking at the finances, but I can't necessarily justify myself as a
Hmm.
German car lover buying an American car over a German car. I wouldn't do it because to me it's German cars, first, second, third. But
yeah, yeah. No, I get what you're saying, Paul. For the performance and
yeah,
what
you
you're
can't
actually
knock it.
getting for that money, yeah, it's tremendous. But I
The
mean,
car's a monster.
A GT series Porsche is a GT series Porsche though.
Oh, yeah, right, because it was designed to be what it's being sold as. Whereas,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's been my complaint about the Mustang and the Camaro is that it started off just as a hard economy shell, and then it was built over time to be what it is right now. Whereas the Porsche was just from the ground up.
yeah,
Every sort of new nook and cranny on the car has been touched to be to make the car what it is. Whereas
yeah.
with the Ford and the Chevy, man, they kind of just tack things on as they go, and it's like, nah, that's not the business. That's not the way Germans do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
I think too, man, with the GT4, if two people were comparing this and the GT4, like value wise, like that GT4 man will really hold a value real strong. The first GT4 is still worth like pretty much what it cost new already.
Yeah, because there's so much demand for it, and
Yeah,
those who have it, man, they don't want to give it up, and the ones who want it, man, are willing to pay that freight for it. Good luck
yeah,
to them. I wouldn't do it. I'd rather put my money into something else if that's going to be
yeah,
the case. And
yeah.
that's why the Lotus Evora, the
GT,
Evora 400 and the GT 410, they've marked those down significantly just to compete with Porsche in that area.
Mm.
And everybody who has bought a Lotus has raves about them. I met three guys at the dealership. I think about a month or so ago. I was at the dealership, and they rave about them. And they don't have just an Evora, man. They either came from a Porsche or they came from um, I think they either came from a Porsche or they came from a Ferrari or something like that. Usually an older Ferrari, but
Well,
um,
well,
they rave about them.
Mike. The number one enemy of performance is weight. So
Hmm.
that was Colin Chapman's Bible: low weight, low weight, low weight. So with a Lotus, you have low weight, so you don't need boatloads of power when the car weighs absolutely nothing.
Hmm.
Really quick, I just wanted to answer. Ellis Jackson in the chat said, on a scale of understeer to understeer, I think you meant understeer to oversteer, but how would you rate an Audi's handling? So Audis have four-wheel drive. So a four-wheel drive vehicle will inherently always have a degree of understeer. That's kind of the deal for the superior handling around corners, and of course the all-weather ability. So it's kind of kind of your preference with that one. So, Audis are pretty much at the top of the food chain when it comes to sports cars with four-wheel drive handling. So,
Hmm.
Mm.
All right, let's get to Chrysler. See what Dodge has to offer.
None
Wide
but
panel gap
accidents.
in the interior.
Interior ain't none but accidents.
Yeah.
where do I start with this car? And yes, you know
You
where I'm
said, where
going.
do we start?
The interiors. Oh my God. Can they be more cheap and fake? And you can't argue that with me at all. From the switch
Dang.
gear to the interior materials, the quality. Oh
But do
God.
you know the Chrysler 300C um was the best. The 300C was actually the best selling model that they've had all for the last 30 years or something like that.
Mm,
Dude, the 300C, the 300C, when that car came out, it sold 300,000 cars the first month.
month.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
That
Yep.
It was
is
Yep.
that is a
beyond. It was
record
beyond.
that still stands to this day. And
Hmm.
I'm sure you guys remember when that car came out, yo,
Mhm.
everybody and
Yeah.
their mother had a
Every
damn 300C.
everybody
even
and their
even
mama
Obama,
wanted that shit. Yep.
even
Yeah.
Obama had one. Remember
Hmm.
his car was auctioned off pretty high.
Mm.
Hmm.
So the handling, well, there is no handling, but the power for what it is, you know, it's a 700 pound. You know, to me, to me, to me, this car is like a classic American muscle car. It it
Yeah.
it goes great straight, but it can't stop and turn. So
Look at this, all season performance tires. Sorry, one of those words have to go. It's either it's all season tires or they're performance tires, but they're not all season performance tires. You're not gonna get that over on me, pal.
never.
And there you go, Mike, man. That fits in your budget. All you need is some Cartier glasses, man.
Nah, man, I told you, man. All these guys, man, you see them, bouncing off of guardrails, wrapped around poles,
Yeah,
inside of those water drainage yellow barrels on the highway
yeah,
because they have these all season tires. They've been doing burnouts and they don't realize that they've worn out the grip and it's uneven. There's no sort of outside grip. So when they try to switch lanes like they do, all they need to do is hit a patch of sand, man, and it's game over for them.
Yeah, a wrap.
and Mike, you mean all season performance tires?
Blasphemy.
Yeah,
There's no such thing. No
yeah.
such thing.
Hey, a group of guys, a big gang of guys that own these in Detroit, they got a Charger and Challenger group. They blocked off our highway, 96 Lodge, man, and they just did 360s and everything, man. It was a big thing on the news about it.
That's just dumb, man. And that's
I
that's
know.
that's why American cars, performance cars, get such a bad rap for being rednecks, man.
Mm,
They do. They
They get
do.
mm,
such a bad
Yep.
rap, man. And it's
okay.
always the same thing all the time. It's the guy in the Corvette who has to rev it up from the light. It's the guy in the Charger doing the donuts. Um,
Yep.
it's the guy in the Camaro who's constantly revving it up with his automatic transmission. Uh, it, you know, holding his foot on the brake while revving it, the engine all at the same time, right behind somebody in traffic. He miscalculates and then he goes right
Bam.
into the back of somebody, and now he's SOL because his insurance company's going to dump him at the end of the day.
Yep.
Um,
Can we look at this interior? Typical American car interior. Now, listen, there is no accounting for taste. So, styling is styling. Me personally, I do not like this typical American car styling. Big, swoopy, flat, huge, massive vents on either side of that tiny screen. I don't know what the hell is going on with those dashboard controls. The switch gear looks cheap. That center console looks like it belongs in a $10,000 Dodge Neon.
Mm-hmm.
The steering wheel is chunky. The
Mm-hmm.
gauges look cheap, like it belongs in a Neon. The pedals, everything about this interior to me says typical American, cheap, low class, low rent, poor quality,
Mm-hmm.
poor styling. Again, to each his own. It does not appeal to me. You know what? I can walk out the door right now, hop in my S4,
Mm-hmm.
look at my beautiful carbon fiber, the beautiful interior styling, my beautiful leather on my sports seats
Mm-hmm.
with the red inserts and the red stitching, and it's awesome. So,
Mm-hmm. And it
but
feels good too. It's not just a look; it feels good when you slide in there.
exactly.
I know what you feel. I know what you're talking about because my Volkswagen feels the same way. When I slide into the seats and stuff like that, and I touch the steering wheel, you feel the quality from it. Although you pay a lot more for it, you pay a few bucks more for it, but it just lasts longer. Like my leather still looks new, like it did 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just looks better. Let me see. Yeah, this is yeah, that I agree with you, Paul. That console is a disaster. That gear shifter. Why do you need a gear shifter in this day and age for automatic transmissions? I don't know. Everything's digital now.
Look
Uh,
at this interior styling, bro. Except for that, screen panel
hmm.
and those round knobs, this interior panel looks like it came out of an American car from 25 years ago.
Like a Dodge
Wow.
Intrepid, like a Dodge
Yeah,
Intrepid. Yeah.
right. Real talk. You know?
It's I think the problem is the police departments like it so much, man. Chrysler was trying to balance out the consumer versus law enforcement. They're looking at this like they're all the same people anyways. They're all racist anyway. So to sell them all the same car, they won't know the difference. But yeah, it's just one of those things, man. And this is a 2019. This is not from 2011 or 2008. This is a 2019, and it's a shame because you can pick up a Honda Civic that has much light. The interior is light years ahead of this. It doesn't have to be this way. It's just a matter of somebody at the top decided that we're not going to spend any money on the interior. We're going to put all our money into the motor and call it a day. And we're going to charge you 72 grand for this. That's what this costs.
So you can go great straight, but you can't turn and stop.
Hmm.
Good job.
Mm-hmm.
So do we? Oh, there's an Alcantara package. Hmm.
Really?
Yeah. So let's add that. Wait, is it okay? Added
Don't make no
power.
difference. Still a piece of shit.
Well, Alcantara is a nice thing to have if you've never
Well,
had it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean to these these Charger guys, man, it'd be like a members only jacket, in about
The last member.
Man, I kid you not. They ramp and rave about Alcantara. Oh, I got an Alcantara on the steering wheel and shit. I'm like, dude,
yeah.
The last
like,
thing you want is an Alcantara steering wheel. That thing will get hard and
Well, as long as you drive your gloves, you'll be all right. But it'd be kind of like it'd be kind of like the hot boys with their FUBU jeans and their soft toe Reeboks, soft toe Reeboks and jerseys. Um, but yeah, 6.2 liter supercharged Hemi. You really can't beat a supercharged Hemi, man.
you really can't.
But for 72 grand, I expect more. 8-speed automatic transmission. I don't have anything to say about that. I mean, it's different to roll 6 gears versus eight. I don't know anybody who can roll eight.
I'm stick shift all day, every day, bro. That's why I have a stick shift in my car.
Yeah, you're a manual Nazi, man.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, how the transmission, how the clutch.
Yeah, I've had to change the clutch once already. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, how many miles? 10,000.
So it's a 2016. I picked it up in March of 2016. I've only had to change the clutch once so far.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 2016. I think the car has a little over 30,000 miles on it.
Mm.
So yeah, I put a lot of miles on it for sure.
So
Hey,
what's the
Rainy Woman says she likes the interior. My bad.
hmm Well, she drives a Camry, so that goes without saying. But
Don't do her like that.
no, I'm not. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you look at the interior and then look at the Camry, you can see that
Camry, they kind of look similarities. Yeah, you're
there's
right.
similarities in build quality. So she's probably accustomed to that. But
No
yeah,
Well,
I'm not feeling this at all. I have to give it a thumbs down for what it costs. They can keep it
facts.
personally.
Hmm.
yeah, Ellis Jackson. I kind of yeah, I hear you with 100,000 out of a clutch. Yeah, you're right, but I was kind of when I got out the car, I was being stupid and did a few burnouts when I shouldn't have. I popped the clutch a hell of a lot more than I should have. So yeah, that was on me. That was not German engineering.
Mm-hmm.
That was on me. And I've been driving manual transmission since I was what 7 when my father taught me. May he rest in peace. But that was on me. That was not about the German quality.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to talk interiors, I know we're talking American muscle versus German muscle. I don't particularly consider the S4 German muscle, but if you were to pull up the interior of, say, the 2016 Audi S4 with the red sports seat interior, and look at the quality between that and that Charger we just looked at, bro, it's night and day. It's night and day. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and God forbid we're talking Mercedes Benz. Benz is killing it as far as automotive interiors. I mean, that's still the benchmark of the world. Either you're above the benchmark or you're below. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Benz interior is no joke. That's for sure. I got a chance to check out a V12 Benz interior recently. Wow.
dude, it's like
You know what? The problem is that can't really be replicated in an American car at that price point, man.
you know what?
I just,
I
I mean,
disagree.
stylistically, the American car's interior could be better, but like quality, I don't know if it could. Go ahead, Paul.
I disagree, and I'll tell you why I disagree. Because if you get into if you get into a Mercedes 300C, and
Yeah,
granted, it's a little tough to spec one out for under 50. I'll grant you that. I'll
yeah,
grant you that. But other than other than that dashboard, that crazy
yeah.
that
That dashboard is
the
insane.
dashboard interior of the S and the E is a whole different ballgame. But I'm saying everything else is more or less the same. So you can't. So I what I'm saying is I refuse to believe that an American vehicle at the $50,000 price point can't have the same LED lit interior with the dashboard and the quality of the leather and everything else. I refuse to believe that. Now that may sound blasphemous coming from a
Yeah,
person who
that's what
loves
I was gonna say.
German cars, but I think it's a cultural thing. I just don't. I think that the American idea of automotive luxury is not on the same level as German idea of
Well,
automotive.
let me. I would say this to that, Mike. I mean, Paul. I mean, as somebody that has worked at auto companies before, and seeing them have rival cars in there for comparing and contrast,
Mhm.
they have this stuff right in front of you. So, like, what exactly is the problem? Like, I'm not expecting you to copy it verbatim, but if you have the direct vehicle in front of you as inspiration, like, what problems are you encountering that's holding it up? It would be my issue.
Bro, I think it's price. And see, look, all
Yeah,
right, look at the look at damn, and I don't remember. I want to say if you look at I want to say a Nissan Versa. or if you look at any of those other cheap cars,
Yeah,
those cars that cost that literally cost under $10,000.
yeah.
Now,
A
the
base Fiat 500. Yeah.
okay, the styling on those Nissans and on those Chevys, those cars are hideous. They are ugly. Even if you look at the Toyota Prius,
Right.
they're monstrosities. So what we're talking there, we're talking sheet metal. Sheet metal is nothing. So the point that I'm trying to make is car makers know that they can charge you more money for an attractive looking vehicle. So if the engineering is the same, if the chassis is the same, if all the R&D and the engineering is the same, then what I'm basically paying for is cosmetics. All right. So if you can give me a $8,000 Nissan that is every bit as safe and reliable as a $50,000 Nissan, but it looks much more attractive, it's not hideous, then I'm not paying for $42,000 worth of better vehicle. I'm paying for $42,000 worth of luxury tax just because it looks better. If I'm making sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. No, I see where you're going. They rather shift the resources in that department. I got you
And just charge you more because it looks better.
because
It's
it
not
looks better.
necessarily that the car is all that much better. Now we're not talking even if we're not even if we don't have all the bells and whistles. So if we're talking at the $20,000 price range or at the $25,000 price range, what I'm saying is if you can charge me $8,000 for a car that's every bit as safe and has the basic engineering, the basic R&D, then why does it look hideous? So people don't want a hideous looking vehicle. So the pretty looking vehicles all cost 20 and up. So I think it's marketing and it's business. Now I understand no company is in business to lose money. Companies are in business to maximize profits.
Right.
So I think styling I think is more so maximizing profits than it is actual engineering focused.
Well, the average like Nissan or even Honda only costs about 4 to 5 grand to build. And
Wow.
then well, I guess I'm referring to the more the subcompacts. And
Okay.
then they sell it for 10, 12, 15. And that's why I would never buy a Mini Cooper because those cars are only worth about 10 grand at best. And then they sell it for
Mhm.
40 grand as a JCW. And I'm like, who is paying for this? Who's paying
A
for
lot
this?
of people, man. A lot of people are paying for them, Mike. And
But
it's a ripoff.
yeah, it's perception, right? It's just
40 racks.
it's European and it's this and that. And reality is, man, that's just a $10,000 you know car that doesn't
Yeah.
really
The,
because
Yeah.
Volkswagen is kicking themselves in the backside because they don't have a response to the Mini Cooper. The closest thing that they have is a GTI, but
Right.
they can't even sell their GTI for the same price as a Mini Cooper. They have to justify, the lowering the price in comparison to a Mini Cooper. Meanwhile, BMW is raking in 80% profit off of their Mini Coopers, and Volkswagen can't really say that about the GTI. They're just
yeah,
breaking even. They're just breaking even on them.
yeah, the JCW Max is like almost 50 grand. That car is such
Wow.
yeah. That
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
car cash grab. Like I actually drove the base, the S, and the JCW, and the base is essentially the same car, man, and it's like half the price, pretty much. You get the base for like 22 grand. It,
What?
great interior, great quality, still is peppy and fun to drive, great handling, and it's 22 grand. And the JCW with a few options is like 38.
I remember there was a study out that they did some kind of evaluation or something to that effect about
Mm-hmm.
Mini Cooper owners and
Mm-hmm.
Mini Cooper owners. almost 9 times out of 10 always own the latest Apple gadgets. So
Mm.
phone, watches, and pads, and MacBooks, and
Yeah.
Caribou coffees, and skinny jeans, and neck beards, and chains swinging off their hips, holding their wallets, and you go to Cars and Coffee every time they lift the hood. They say, "Oh, let me show you. Let me lift the bonnet real quick." Dude,
Sporting
what?
a man bun.
A man bun,
That's
but
what
they
they call the hood.
and
Bonnet is
yeah,
what they call the hood for the mini. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, let me lift the bonnet. No, dude, you're in America. It's a fucking hood, man.
You know what? I actually cross shop the mini with my Abarth, man, and yeah, I went and checked it out. I drove all of them. I just felt like the quality is above the Abarth, but for the money, man, especially because I caught a used one, it's just the mini is just way overpriced, man, for the performance and what you're getting. I mean, the base model is pretty cool. I could see someone wanting that as a get around car, but the other models are just too much money.
Well, dude, so are BMWs. When I found out that the BMW M5 is $100,000 now, I said, "Are you out of your flipping mind?"
It's 120.
Yeah, that's insane. That is
Wow.
hmm
insane, dude. For what you get from a BMW at every price point, in my opinion, they are overpriced. I would rather
Price.
go
Yep.
with an Audi or a Mercedes Benz. Okay, Mercedes Benz has beat BMW at their own game. They have the performance. Plus, they already had the luxury. Now they have the performance. And if you want to up the ante, and if you want to compare apples to apples, I will take any AMG over any M car any day of the week.
hmm
What are your Paul? What's your opinion on the M2 though? I was hearing rave stuff about the value of the M2.
To me, I'm not crazy about that styling. That to me it looks like a 3 Series front with a remember that what was that, the BMW 1M,
Yeah,
that box thing from the late 90s. So
yeah,
it's like those two squished in half, or like they took a 3 Series and they just flattened the rear end. But for that money, go with the AMG. What is it? The C45 or AMG A45, whatever. Even though it's not an AMG motor, still, it's in my opinion, it's still better than a Beamer. And I
Yeah.
well,
used to be Mr. BMW, but
I would have to disagree with that, Paul. That 2 Series is actually a 6 cylinder, versus
okay,
the A45, which is just the 4 cylinder.
right.
And the quality is nowhere near the same.
Mm,
They kind of skimped out on the A series hatchback is more comparable to like the Volkswagen GTI, if anything else, if not the Golf R. But the BMW M2 is kind of a throwback to the E46 M3 because they're virtually the same size if you
the,
really look at the dimensions.
the E46, you said?
Yeah, the E46 M3.
Okay, okay.
They're virtually the same size and have the same exact specs, same exact weight.
Mm,
The only difference here is that uh, I think that one's automatic, one's the E46 CSO was a stick, right? But outside of that, you're getting roughly the same thing from years ago without the subframe issues and the warranty issues.
oh,
Oh yeah.
if you ever want to buy any 3 Series, if you're buying it, have that lower subframe checked. If you see welds, I don't know, because you really can't check the welds, but look at the wells. If they look good, if they look a high
Hmm.
quality, take a chance. But that rear lower subframe, because for some reason
Hmm.
the geniuses at BMW decide, no, we're not going to bolt the rear diff to the chassis. We're going to make a subframe. We're not going to bolt the lower suspension to the chassis. We're going to make a subframe. We're not going to bolt the anti-sway bar to the chassis. We're going to make a subframe.
Hmm.
I don't know whose bright idea that was.
Well, let's get to this next one. Last one for the Americans, man, is the Cadillac CTS-V. This is a wild card. So 640 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 3.7, 6.2 liter supercharged V8. Interior,
Your
It's
thoughts on the interior, Paul?
it's
And it
it's
starts at 86.
it's Cadillac, so I understand that. I'm not crazy about the interior. I'm not crazy about the interior. It's like, okay, let's try to be German, but we're only gonna make a weak attempt at it. We're only gonna go like maybe one third of the way and be German, but we're gonna somewhat stay American. So we're kind of in a neutral land where we're not really American, but we're not really German. We're kind of somewhere else that really misses the mark on both. But I see something that I don't know if that's supposed to be carbon fiber.
it's carbon fiber weave. It's kind of
Ah,
like it's kind of like the GM's version of a Yaki.
Wow.
shots,
Wow.
shots fired. At least it ain't blonde.
You might get some blonde streaks in there, but
Word up. It should come with a stick, but it doesn't. I understand that's what it is. Everybody's moving away from sticks, so it is what it is.
and it doesn't have a performance wheel either. I mean, that's kind of like
Yeah,
you
it
kind of get.
should.
But
It should have a flat bottom wheel, but it doesn't. Those seats are not performance seats. Like those seats are good for a fat guy, but if you wanted some serious hard driving, you want a seat. You want a heavily bolstered seat that's going to hold you in that seat.
Yeah,
the
Okay,
like them
Recaros,
bootleg bucket seats.
those are
okay,
Yeah,
Recaros.
okay.
Carlos, yeah.
All right, all right. A step up. I like that.
I like the coupe version better than the sedan personally.
Me
I
too.
don't think they make one because I'm looking on their site. There isn't one.
They killed. They
They
killed.
killed the
Killed the
coupe?
coupe version.
Yeah, they killed
I
that.
think they killed the coupe. Yeah, it's no longer in the
Oh,
coupe. It's
Really?
sedans.
the
Yep,
coupe.
Yeah,
they killed
The
it.
coupe is hot.
The
yeah,
coupe is hot,
yeah,
man.
all three-door cars have not sold the last 5 years. That's why Volkswagen killed the three-door GTI because it didn't
Oh,
sell at all. In fact, they
Mm.
sold less than 1,000 or something like that, compared to the four-door that sold like 10 to 20,000. So
dude. Oh, America will not support a $40,000 coupe.
yeah,
Not a hot hatch. I'm sorry, not a coupe. Let me be clear. A $40,000 hot hatch will never
Yeah.
sell in
well,
America.
well, no, it's not even so much of a hot hatch, but this three doors altogether are just not selling. That's why BMW killed the M3 two-door as well. They said
Right? Yeah.
even the Audi, I think they had an interview with Audi earlier this year, and they were talking about like the S5 sedan,
Hmm.
um in comparison to the two-door, the A5 and S5 sedan, and they said they're going to discontinue the two doors, I
Damn.
think in 2020. So
Blasphemy.
yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't sell at all. The RS5 was a dud. Did not sell. Did not move any units at all. Kind of embarrassing to them. Porsche sells obviously because it's Porsche. I mean, you couldn't get anything. There is no other way to get a 911. But there has been rumors about selling a four-door 911. I thought whoever made that decision put a bullet in their head immediately.
I thought the Panamera was basically a four-door 911.
It's
Yeah.
but it's front engine, right? So what happens with the Panameras is
Gotcha.
that they lose their value almost immediately in comparison to like a 911. 911 kind of maintains its values because even like a
Ooh.
991 GTS still sells for 90 to 100K, even though it started off at 110K. So it
Yeah.
never really lost its value. Whereas the
Really?
Panameras, they lose damn near 18% of their value within the first 18 months.
Dude, I like the Panamera. That is a sexy beast.
Here's what they can do for me. If they can create a GT3 RS Panamera with carbon fiber bits all over the place, fenders and tailgates and hoods and interior bits and stuff like that, and a racing
Right.
battery, and
Okay.
drop 500 pounds off of the car, because the car is 4,000 pounds. It's 4,200 pounds. That's very heavy. That's not Porsche to me. That's something else. I don't know what that's supposed to be. But
But it's got to survive accidents on the Autobahn, Mike. That's why German cars are so heavy. They have to survive high-speed accidents on the Autobahn.
listen, man, I treat it like New Hampshire. Just live free or die.
Oh man, my
Yeah, but I was talking with what's his face on YouTube, man, big YouTuber, man, what's his name now? Guy from Sweden.
Who?
geez.
Autovlog?
No, not Autovlog. Autovlog's in America, but
Okay.
I forget his name right now. But basically, he drove one last week or 2 weeks ago, and I told him about the GT, if they came out with a GT3 RS version. He said that shit would be nuts. He said the car as it is nuts. He said he can't imagine it being any, spec, race spec, and actually being put out there. He said that it would just be too nuts for the market.
Which car was this, Mike?
The Panamera, the four door had Turismo Porsche.
Oh,
It's like a four door wagon.
oh,
Right.
the wagon version of the Panamera. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. How does the what do you think of the Panamera Turbo? Turbo.
that's what it is. That's what it is. I think that's what
Okay,
the hatchback is.
okay. The Panamera Turbo S. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen one of those the other day, man. The whole wing jumped out of the back of the car and opened up at about 40, man.
They all do that.
Yeah, pretty bad, man. I was impressed with it. Very nice looking car.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't mind owning one if I needed a four door uh, um uh
Sedan, yeah,
well, hatchback if anything
yeah.
else, because Ferrari makes the FF, but that thing is so priced out, priced out
Yeah,
of
it was
everybody's
like
market.
300 or something. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous, man.
I miss the Magnum. I know Paul is gonna get upset, but I miss the Magnum, man. The Dodge, a Hellcat version of the Magnum with a custom interior would be pretty badass right about now.
No,
I don't know,
listen.
man. That thing's like a hearse, man. It's like, driving around with a casket in the back, man.
Wait. Time out.
Hey,
Time out.
my boy back in the day had nothing but speakers in the back, man. The whole back hatch was off.
Oh my God. Are you
Well, yeah, but why?
killing me?
He had the SRT8 version, man.
Killing me.
They used to roll like 4 deep, man. And
Oh my God.
they,
What did he used to
Hood
put?
niggas and Dodges.
one day they ran into a dude on the highway, man, that had he had the Lamborghini Murcielago, man. That dude just cruised away from them like they were standing still, man.
Well, I
Well,
mean, what was he playing with those speakers? Hey, little Walter.
He had like 615s in there though, man.
he was
Good
So
playing
time.
unnecessary.
he
So unnecessary.
he he was playing Supersonic by JJ Fad.
Hmm.
But bro, that Magnum wagon,
Yeah.
that that Magnum wagon, the SRT version, I can't front. That was a super sleeper. That was a nice sleeper. I can't front.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that was sweet. That was sweet. A Hellcat version of that would be unbelievable right now.
dude, there used to be, it was a European only model. They never brought it to America. The Audi RS6 Avant, a station wagon, 500 and I want to say 576 horsepower, four-wheel drive wagon,
Hmm.
killer, absolute killer.
All right, let's look at the Germans now. See what they have to offer.
Oh,
Ooh.
Ah, eine meiner Lieblingsrennen Fahrrad,
Save the Benz for last.
Mercedes-Benz AMG.
Mhm.
Save the
My
Benz for
favorite,
last.
my favorite cars for racing, Mercedes-Benz. I love AMGs, bro. I love AMGs.
See, this is why me and Paul are good buddies, man. AMG gang, man.
I love AMG. They came and they beat BMW at their own game, blew them out the
Mm-hmm.
box. They're killing BMW.
The problem is BMW can't go up market or else they'll price their guys right out, right? And then you factor in, if they go down market, they lose their value or their presence on the market. The guy's name I'm talking about was Luke. Cars with Luke. He's from
Oh,
he's from I think he's from Switzerland.
okay.
Let me see if I can share my screen real quick, so people in the chat understand who I'm talking about. Actually, that's not it. Here it is right here. This is Luke right here. The GTS Sport Turismo. That's like the ultimate, right? It's supposed to be the ultimate of the ultimates, of the Panameras. But to me, if it said GT3 with RS with the hoovers for fenders and titanium wheels and stuff. If they just made that thing super light as much as possible, that thing would be on another level of what Ferrari has to offer with the FF. I mean, who will buy a FF at that point?
Mike, I can give you the perfect reason why that car will never be built, and I can tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same reason the 911 still looks the way it does after 50 years. The Porsche Car Club of America.
Okay.
They hold so much power over Porsche. Close to what I want to say 30 to 40% of Porsches are sold in the state of California alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Porsche Car
yeah.
Club of America. Dude, Porsche listens to them. Porsche wanted to Porsche wanted to make the 911 water cooled from back in the 80s. Car Club of America said no. Porsche wanted to actually they wanted to change the 911. They wanted to put the engine either mid-engine or in the front. They said no. That's how we got the 914 and the 928 and the 944. And the
Mm-hmm.
Porsche Car Club of America said, no, we're going to make sure people don't buy it. We want the 911 rear engine. That's it.
Mm.
Wait, that's not the RS5 I was looking for. Where's the coupe?
Hell,
Mm, all right, here we go right here. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Germany and their
Yeah.
globalization system, but that it does not look like the business to me personally. That front end looks like it's all plastic. Um, it lost its masculinity. It seems very unisex. I don't know what they were thinking. And I'm not bashing the car. I like the original or the first generation RS5 coupe. I think that
yeah.
thing was really something to be holding. I still see him people holding on to him.
hmm
But this thing, man, I don't know.
Mike, I agree with you 1,000%. I don't like the current styling. I don't. To me, it's gotten soft,
Hmm.
and I see it across the entire Audi line, the entire line. I don't like it. I don't like the styling. The styling has gotten soft. Um, I kind of don't even. I'm kind of not, and it's pricey. But even the S5 in general, as I said, the reason I don't have a S5, it doesn't have, it doesn't have a moonroof. It has a
Yeah.
pop-up sunroof, and that's it. It doesn't open. I need a vehicle with an open moonroof. That is an absolute deal killer for me, and I didn't buy it. And that's actually what led me into the S4. That's the only four door that I actually liked because I don't like four door cars. I like coupes.
Yeah.
Even this styling, in my opinion, the styling of my generation with the S4 that I have is I like the interior styling better. To
What
me,
what
this entire styling actually went backwards. To me,
what do they call your generation? B 8.5? Is that
pretty
is that the
much,
yeah.
pretty much.
Or B8 maybe. That's probably what it is. Yeah, I think it might just be a B8. Um yeah, not high on the list, man. In comparison to, let's say, GT 350R. Yeah, I have to go with the GT 350R, man. And then okay, let's take away the GT 350R and let's put the Camaro ZL1 in there. I have to go with the ZL1, man. Interior wise, I think that Audi has it blown away by light years, probably by a few presidential cycles. But
Right.
Yeah, definitely interior wise. Of all the cars we looked at, I just think that Porsche GT4 and probably that C8 under 100 is probably the best rides, man, so far from what I've seen. But it's some other ones up there like the Z01 and 350 though.
mhm.
It's up
Yeah,
for debate though.
yeah. I'm not crazy about the current styling. I'm not. But, however, if we're talking muscle, bro, the AMG C63S Coupe, or even the E63 AMG. Now, I don't know if you can get the E63 AMG S Coupe in Germany. I don't think it's here in the States. I don't think they sell it in the States. Because I've seen them on the road in Germany. I haven't seen them on the road back home.
That's a Pharaoh question.
That's a Pharaoh question.
Yeah,
Hmm.
the AMG E63S Coupe. I've seen them on the road in Germany. I haven't seen them here in America. I don't think they're on. I don't think they sell the
They
AMG
they
Coupe.
they they from what they were saying, they gonna sell. They said somewhere after Labor Day, but I just know that when I was looking, 'cause I was on site looking at them, and for some strange reason they said that they had them in Florida, but I was looking at dealerships down in the West Palm, even in Miami, because I know there ain't gonna be none in Jacksonville or Tampa, of course, and I couldn't find them even searching at the dealerships. So I don't know when they're supposed to be getting. They're supposed to be getting them in mid fall.
Mm.
Okay, let's go to the Benz then. The Benz.
You're supposed to say that for last, Mike.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Okay.
we can
Spoiling it, man.
we can start talking shit about BMW next now.
Hmm.
My bad. They do represent German, but
Oh, BMW, bro. Listen. I used to be Mister BMW. I used to tell you E30, E36, E46, E92, the 5 Series, the 7 Series, the Alpinas. Even I was Mister BMW.
well,
But once they
they
once they went to me now, like I said, for what you get at every price point, I think BMWs are overpriced. Also, let's not forget the fact BMW has the most expensive car parts on the market.
yes,
You have
yes,
to literally go to Ferrari and Lambo and Aston Martins to find more expensive car parts than BMWs. The brake sensor on a BMW, and all the brake sensor is a wire with two clips on either side of it. One side clips into the car, other side clips into a clip on the back of the brake pad.
mm-hmm.
And that brake sensor, bro, that's $150 just for that.
Wow.
If you crack a fog lamp in any BMW, it's $1,500 to replace. You know why? They don't sell the fog lamp. You have to replace the entire lower valance panel. BMWs are hideously expensive, man. The car parts.
And I can see why people just leasing them now. I
Well,
understand.
they encourage you to lease them, because then
Yeah.
they can make more money on the markup on the used market. But wait, what does it say? Muscle matters. Well, speaking of the devil,
What is it? Twin turbo?
yeah, but
Mm.
That's the way of the world, though, bro. Ford, to their credit, Ford changed the world with the EcoBoost motor. They're funny enough, the Germans laughed at Ford, but you know what? Now the entire world has basically the EcoBoost motors. So I will give credit. I will give Ford credit for that.
mhm. What do you guys think about the interior?
I want to hear
Uh,
Paul's opinion on
I don't like it, bro.
it.
nah. It's been the same for the past 10 years, in
Been the,
my opinion.
it's been the same for the past 20 years. The only thing they've
Yeah,
done
I was gonna say
Oh,
longer
is
than that.
improved.
oh, well, shoot. I never you know that's how much disdain that I have. I said 10. That means I don't really gave a fuck about the BMW in the past.
Well,
So
When I look at it, man, it is traditional, but I mean that LCD that they use for the climate control, that has to go, man. That was cool back in the 90s, but
yeah.
on the E36s and the what's the other series?
The E30, the E36, the E46, and the E92.
Well, not just the 3 series, but the 5 series.
I think the what is that? The E, I want to say,
E34, E30,
yeah, 5,
E30. No, not
E35.
E30. No, it's not E35. It's E34, E38. I think that's what they call it.
Okay.
I think that's what it might be called, is E38.
And
But
isn't,
E34 was like the rounded headlights. The one from like Ronin, I think it was. Anyways, the tacky tablet that they have on there, man, really really grinds my gears because like I don't know if they were trying to if they contracted Nintendo to add the DS to their console or something like that. I just find that to be really out of place, man. In comparison to like um maybe like the Tesla or something like that, right? Or the Tesla is like you getting a big ass iPad sitting on your console, but then again, it centralizes everything. With this, it seems like the whole entire dash is just really busy. You got these retrofitted rounded gauges. Um, you got these, and then for your climate controls, you got like these 1990 fonted. Um,
LCD. Who uses LCDs in 2020?
yeah, I
yeah.
yeah yeah IBM Lotus 123 sort of formatted design.
Look at the headlight controls, the
Man,
actual
now that
rotary
y'all
knob for the headlights. Who does
now,
that?
now that y'all said that, that does look like in the '90s. They ain't changed shit, man.
Well,
Yo,
they try
you
to keep it traditional, right? But I mean, I,
You,
I, I'm not I'm
Uh,
not sure if that makes sense if I'm buying a 75, 80
yeah,
grand car.
you know
dude.
what's
You
exactly.
know
funny?
what? Go, Lex. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say what's funny. I actually like the interior on the $20,000 Mini Cooper better than the M4. That's like 83. I do.
And that's Germany. That's
And
and
I know
that's
that that's
that's that's
sad.
BMW, bro. If you look at that interior we just looked at, if you look at an E33 series from 1987, the only difference from that interior to this interior would be that real time fuel economy gauge, and that touchscreen, and there's more chrome around everything. That's it. It's basically the same interior. It hasn't changed in 35 years. So
Damn.
so much for typical German efficiency. BMW has dropped the ball, man. Totally dropped the ball.
Man. Well,
The plus factor here is that it does come with wireless internet. So
Ooh, yay.
mhm.
hey, you guys got an opinion of the i8?
I think we talked about that, man. The IA
Yeah.
is an experiment, man. It's kind of like the guy who got the flat top fade. You know, these guys, these guys got the flat top fades, man, and
The
got the
IA,
Kwame blonde streak down the middle. But yeah, I think the i8 was a good experiment. For what it was. I mean, BMW needed a supercar. They don't have the M1 out yet. Um, that's probably something we should probably do a hangout just on the M1. I think that we'll add that with the 190e Cosworth. Um,
I do have a bone to pick with BMW though. That freaking new 8 series, they took the body style of that goddamn Ford Mustangs. Tell me somebody agree with that.
mhm.
I disagree. To
Oh,
me, hear me out. Hear me out. To me, it looks like an overgrown 6 series.
It's supposed to be a replacement to the 6 Series.
That kind of explains it.
Yeah, it's
But
supposed to.
see, the thing is this though, bro. Since we're all going to talk BMWs, one of the most beautiful cars I ever saw was the original BMW 8 Series. You know, as Biggie Small said, the high guy in 850Is,
Hmm.
four
Hmm.
chrome and terrace.
Hmm.
But I love that car. That car is one of the most beautiful vehicles I've ever seen in my life. The 850i in the V12. The thing is, BMW only made a handful of them. And if I'm correct, they only sent 355 of them to America. So they're very rare. I've only ever seen one in my life. Probably owing to the fact that this is New York City, but that current 8 series, to call it an 8 and what it is and the price, it's overpriced. It's for what you get. To me, your money is better spent on a Benz.
That's and that's BMW's response to the Benz, the S coupe, the S class coupe, because they came up with the S class coupe. That was their response
oh
to it.
yeah.
They never really had, because they need to, if they need to move up market, they have to compete with Mercedes in that area, and unfortunately, um, you get this monstrosity of a vehicle, but they're supposed to have an M8 series, so
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
that won't be out till at least 2021 or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
Ellis Jackson says, "Is the M1 out yet? There will never be another M1. BMW has all but said that. There'll never
yeah,
be another M1. The M1 is what it was, and they're never going to recreate it. They're never going to call another vehicle the M1. There was speculation that the i8 was going to be the new M1, but people need to understand the i8 was never meant to be a sports car. That was
yeah.
a test bed for their hybrid engine technology. That's it."
Uh, Yep. The i8 is supposed to be a supercar. It's supposed to be up there with the R8s and the
Maybe in looks, but not in performance.
Not in performance.
no, it would never,
Yeah.
it was never it's supposed to have the presence, right? If you pull up on the boulevard or Park Ave, then
Yeah. It's
it,
supposed
it,
to
it's
blend
supposed,
in with the supercars. Yeah, like your
yeah,
Ferraris and Lambos. Yeah.
right. It's supposed to be a flagship for that very
Mm-hmm.
reason, and
Yeah,
it didn't really do it as much because the doors go up, right? And
Yeah, it goes up. Yep.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it, it, it's hot. It's hot.
Hmm.
I mean, I see even now when I see an I-8, I'm like, that's hot. But,
Hmm.
you know, it looks good. That's
Hmm.
it. It's just all looks. It doesn't really do
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you think they need to bring the M1 back to spark some re-interest in the brand, or what do you think, Paul?
How do you sell it?
Yeah, I mean, how do you? I mean, it's moved on. I mean, the M1. I mean, but for what the M1 was, what would BMW have to? if BMW would make an M1 now to embody what the M1 was back then, you're basically gonna have to give that car Porsche 911 GT2 RS levels of performance. So I don't see that. I don't see BMW really. You know, I don't. I don't know. Yeah. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, let me get to this next piece. I want to look at or show you guys Mr. Raz and his GT 63S. Since we're moving into Mercedes territory.
Mr. AMG, huh?
Yeah, he's a cool ass dude, man. But yeah, he picked up his GT3R GT63R S and just the other day.
Yeah, that's another. That's another car that's on sale in Germany. I don't think they sell that car in America
Now we won't see that for
uh,
quite some time.
because I've yeah
you said the
you
63s?
the
Yeah, this is
the
They
GT 3S.
oh
yeah this won't be in America this year. This won't be out till next year.
Yeah,
yeah, that's why I'm waiting for 2021.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, this is it, man. This is like literally a supercar, 4-door supercar.
yep, pretty much.
If I remember correctly, it has four-wheel steering.
Oh wow! Really quick, BMW. No, not BMW. Mercedes. For some whatever reason, if you look at, and I don't even know the exact name of the model, but basically that BMW six wagon, whatever that thing is called, BMW base. I'm sorry, Mercedes Benz basically stole that design and copied for that. What is it, GLC, GLE?
Oh yeah,
And I was like, what? What the hell is this?
yeah.
Because now, if you look at that car we just looked at, Mercedes just carbon copied the Audi S7.
That car?
Yeah,
No,
look at it.
that's a different animal, Paul.
Yeah,
As far
that is Paul. I have
yeah,
to
as
disagree
No,
on that.
as far as styling,
that's a cookie cut from the AMG GT series.
Hmm.
That's really what it was designed from that.
Pretty much is a four door of that GTR. That's
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah. That's all, and it has rear wheel steering.
right? I get that, but
Mhm,
what I'm saying is just the exterior styling. When I look at that car,
mhm.
minus the grill, so from the grill back, I
Oh,
see a
you mean it's
Audi
a Grand
S7.
Coupe? You mean it's a Grand Coupe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's typical.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Let me let me see. AMG C63. Let's get this one.
Uh, Thai City, with respect, you may want to check that. Mercedes kind of created that whole four door coupe market, if you remember back in the 90s. So,
Hey, so this AMG we're looking at, this just has the regular Benz motor.
no. This
Mm-mm.
has an AMG motor in it, bro.
Motor, yeah.
This has a hand built AMG motor in it.
Yeah, the 40, the one you're talking about is a 43. That's a Benz built motor, but the 63 is the
Correct.
AMG motor. So
Hmm.
It's only 76. I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, but the price has gone up though. It used to be 65.
64,
Yeah,
64, yeah,
thank you.
65, yeah.
Yeah. And that price has gone up like 10,000 in like 3 years. That's kind of but it is what it is. I still like it. I still want one. I'm seriously thinking about getting out of my S4 and getting this.
Come on over, brother. Come
Car
on
is a
over.
beast. This car is a
Yeah, that car is an animal, man. I'm looking at the specs. Fast with class. Fast with class.
car is a beast. And the way I would spec it, I would get it either in the because I have spec'd it. I would get it either in the charcoal gray or totally blacked out with the carbon fiber trim with the chrome delete option. The only chrome I would get on a car would be the Mercedes Benz Star because you can even get the grill blacked out. Only chrome is the Star carbon fiber package. But I believe it's called the Night package.
Yeah,
Car is
because
a
the,
beast.
the the emblem lights up too.
Yeah, I wouldn't get that though. It's kind of a gimmick.
Let me see.
This
Let's
car is a
build it.
beast.
Yeah, let's build it and see what happens.
Yeah, I might seriously get out of my S4 and get into this.
Man,
Mm.
that's a alluring silhouette fucking looking car, man. I have to say, when they built the body styles for the C's, the E's, especially the coupes, they
Mm-hmm.
did a hell of a job. They did
Car
a
is a
hell
beast.
of a job.
There you go, Mike. Yes, sir.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Let's see what else is optionable. Exterior lighting package, adaptive high beam assist, intelligent light system with ultra wide beam headlamps. What is that? Like a Cyclops package or something? I mean, they always tack on these like weird options. And it's like, wait a second, what does this thing really do?
Well, one of my headlights on mine, what happens is when I make a turn, the
Mhm.
headlight it kind of moves to like if I'm making a right turn,
Yeah, it
if the
swivels.
light, yeah, it swivels on that side. And I noticed that and I looked at the options. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, my Volkswagen does the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So, like personally, I would go with the night package because that's basically a chrome delete package. And
Yeah.
if you spec
Hmm.
this car in obsidian black, I would go with the night package. It's a chrome
Night
delete
package. Yep.
because you rarely see a Benz with no chrome. And I would go with the carbon fiber package. I don't remember if it's carbon fiber one or carbon fiber two because
You
the
said
one
the
I like.
Obsidian package? Is that like the is that like the is that like the
Well, he,
voice of the everyday brother?
he,
Yeah,
he pretty
I,
much just saying all
I would
black.
think so. I would think so.
What about the AMG aerodynamics package though?
Uh, that's new for 2020. I haven't seen that before personally. I haven't come to the Ben site in a while, so
Mm.
I'm not familiar with that package. But that carbon fiber package to me is hot because I
Yes, it is.
love carbon fiber.
Pretty much the aerodynamic. It got the side skirts, which give it pretty much a sporty look,
Okay,
and then pretty much it's just when you picking up in RPMs and stuff, it just the downforce pressure. So it's
gotcha.
just nothing that major.
Now, interior wise, it blows everything that we looked at tonight out of the water.
Yep.
And
Completely blows everything.
keep in mind, this is the base car. This is only the C class. The E class and the S class, those interiors blow this interior out of the
Yes.
water.
Yes.
Yeah,
This
man,
is
I think the Charger interior look better than this.
No,
you're
yeah, you need
smoking
a
crack.
Hell no.
You're smoking crack.
yeah. Tie this dude up and put him in the river,
The
man. Put
How
him in the
power of
dare
Hudson.
Christ
you,
compels
Triple
you.
X?
The power of Christ compels you.
No, I just said that to rile Paul up, man.
I know, bro. I know. I know.
But yeah, man, I like the whole dash layout is just it's like very spacious. that tablet screen is not really tacky looking like the BMW. The BMW looks like they got it from Nintendo. This looks like they got it from maybe Google itself.
Now,
uh,
Mike, when I have spec this car online, like we are
mhm,
now, personally, I've spec'd it out with the black interior, with the red interior trim, with the sports seats, with the red inserts. Unfortunately, the silver seat belts, I'm sorry, the red seat belts don't come with doesn't come with the red interior. I don't understand why, but everything else with the carbon fiber trim,
mhm,
dude, you're killing it. You're absolutely killing it.
mhm. Yeah, I have no complaints about this. I think it has haptic inputs.
Really?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, this version has haptic inputs. So basically, for those of you in the chat who are listening, haptic inputs means that you move your fingers around um, to navigate around the screens of the menus, like a magician would move his fingers around, abracadabra, that sort of type of deal.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think you can actually speak to this Mercedes if I remember correctly. I think Shmee 150 had did a review on the S series, I think, from 2018, and that had the features in there. You can speak to the car, and it would actually respond,
Ah, nice.
Nice.
kind of like
Hey,
Yeah,
kind of like Alexa.
yeah. Like I said, bro. When I've spec'd it out, I've gotten so on this interior, everything that's gray, the way I've spec'd it on the doors, that stitching is red.
Hmm.
That's all black. Where that's
Hmm.
gray on the doors, that's carbon fiber on the lower trim, carbon that giant panel below that clock. Yeah, carbon fiber.
man, I kid you not,
Oh,
man.
okay. See,
Shit.
so that's changed from the last time I looked at it. Okay,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah, you can change certain of the panels now
Yeah,
instead of just doing the whole door. Yep.
Mercedes has changed.
Trim.
See, this is nice, bro.
Where's Jay Shine, man? Where's Jay Shine? He needs to be looking at this type of stuff,
Man,
man.
I kid you not. When I bought mine, man, I was blown fucking away, man. I'm like, nigga, that's what I'm talking about.
See, bro, come on, man. That's the back seats. Just the
Back seat,
back
Now
seats.
you don't get a
man.
full sunroof because you only get a panoramic roof.
There, that's the thing. It's a pop up. I don't think it slides back. Well, it might slide back.
In
It
the
might.
E, in the E, you do.
It might pop up and slide back and open. I don't know. I would have to go. I have to take a trip out to my Mercedes Benz dealer, out to Helms Brothers Mercedes Benz, and ask them because I
Mm,
haven't actually gone to the dealer and asked about that.
I know in the E class it does though. It's
Okay.
a
Yeah.
full
Well,
size.
it's a bigger car, of
Yeah,
course.
it's
Well,
a
that's a
bigger
C
chassis.
though, but yeah, but the C is smaller, so yeah, you're right. So
But you would be surprised because I've been in the C class 4 door, and I'm 6'3", and I'm comfortable, and
Wait, wait a
it's
second.
a small car.
$500 for some seatbelts because they're
It's
red?
it's a Benz, Mike.
Bez,
It's
man.
it's
But you
ridiculous,
can't have both though. You can't have both. You can't have red pepper leather, Napa leather.
which I did say, which annoys me. For whatever reason, you can't get the red belts with the red seats. You only get the black belts. You know what? Like I could live with even the silver belts with the red seats, but only the black. That's the one thing I don't like.
I
Maybe if
like
you maybe there it could be overridden, when they're ordering it at the dealer. I don't know. But yeah,
No, it won't do it. It
It
won't.
won't do it.
It's not a part of the configuration. You would have to buy your own aftermarket or something like that and fill it in
Or,
yourself.
or what I'm thinking, since you're buying the car, I would talk to the salesman and I would
right.
just say, listen, when the car comes in, if I have to pay for it, I'll pay for it. Take the red seats from another car and put them on my car.
Hmm.
So basically creating your own dealer option.
Now,
AMG
cabin,
Mercedes.
yeah, cabin, atomizer fragrances. I saw this used before, and this is on another level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get that for yours, Farrell?
They didn't have. I didn't get that for mine, but I made sure for my next one that I'm gonna buy in 2021, I'm gonna put that option down.
Oh,
I know it's right under where they hook it up at. It's right
Mhm.
under there in the glove department.
Yep.
Yep.
yeah.
So
Oh, Mike, did you see that this car comes with the LED interior lighting?
Yeah.
So you have 1,000 different colors to set your mood lighting, bro. Another level, another level.
Here it is right
Amer-
here.
American cars don't even offer anything like that.
Yeah, you lucky you get a halogen bulb there. Probably give you they probably give you a candle or something. Say,
Yeah, Mike. Hey, Mike, man, that's our car. Now you just want to dog him, man.
well, but it is a halogen light though. You're getting a light bulb. You got to go down to AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts to pick it up.
Pet Boys special.
Oh man, too funny.
So, do you understand why I worship at the German Ultra Speed? Bro, I love
Mhm.
German cars. They build the best cars in the world, bro.
yes,
And
yes.
yes, you're paying for more. Yes, but dude, when you
Mhm.
get inside a German car and that car and that door closes, it sounds like you're getting into a freaking spaceship. That's
Hmm.
solid. And the quality of the leather, the materials, the switch gear, the controls, everything feels on a whole different level. The turning stalks, the buttons, the switches, even the freaking vents. They feel like they have such a quality to them. Like everything is just was just chiseled out of just solid raw materials, bro. Everything about the car, American, it's a completely different level.
And then it's a crap load of perks when you buy that Benz, man. Because I didn't know some of these exclusive resorts. If you own a Benz, you get percentage off on your hotel stay at some of these Benz exclusive resorts. I didn't even
Hmm.
know that, man. And then we got the Mercedes Benz Dome for the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta.
Yeah.
If you reserve ahead of time for whatever event or game you want to go, they got 140 parking spaces exclusively for Mercedes, and it's free to park, my nigga.
Mhm.
Hmm.
You gotta reserve it ahead of time, and you know how expensive parking is during those game days and events, man. So,
Well,
yep,
and this is the feature I was talking about, the enhanced voice control. So it says you can even enter an address in one step, like reading it off an envelope. It also lets you control cabin features like seat heating,
yep,
climate control, and ambient lighting, and more. So that's the voice
mm-hmm,
features I was talking about. Um, let me see what else
mm-hmm.
was I gonna say. Um, alert certain notification system of certain dangers, from detected wheel spin to the use of hazard flashers or even windshield wipers. The system can then alert other drivers with car to X via in-dash displays or announcements, allowing precautions to be taken before reaching the hazard. Yeah, that's on another level. Definitely on another level. Let me see what else did we miss from here. No charge online navigation. I think that's always a bonus, and the screen looks pretty crisp too. Not like a Game Boy.
Now, the infotainment system, because they came out with the A class. As of right now, their A class are the ones that are touch screen with the navigation system. They
Hmm.
Hmm.
say next year everybody else will have them touch screen infotainment, but as right now the A
Well,
class got them.
now, if you go back, Mike, because I don't know if people realize on that console where you were just showing us, there's that
Hmm.
wheel and there's a black like right there where it says inductive wireless charging. All right, that wheel above that wheel, that black little small thing that looks like basically a giant mouse.
Hmm.
That's touch. So
Yeah.
everything
Yep,
you can do everything on that screen
it's touch.
controlled
Yep.
right from
Mm-hmm.
that little small
Yep.
control. It's all touch.
Yep.
So you don't
Touch.
have to touch a single button or anything. I mean,
Well,
dude,
it's also voice command too, so keep that in mind. That you would only
Mm,
use that if you actually had to. But everything
right?
else, you kind of speak into it.
Yeah, I mean,
mm-hmm.
dude, Mercedes is on a different level, bro. I mean,
Mm-hmm. And they got
Germans
it.
in general.
And they got it now to where you don't even have to click the little thing button anymore for the voice control. You can just say, "Hey, Mercedes," and bam, she's sitting. You can go into your options. Yep.
Hmm.
Personally, I would not purchase the AMG High Performance Ceramic Composite Braking System. That's money
Nope.
saved
Exactly. That's a
in my
waste of
pocket
6, 8 grand. That's a
because
waste.
unless you're going to take the car on the track, that is wasted money. And all brakes, at some point, you're going to have to replace the rotors. 2 or 3 brake changes down the road, it's time to change pads and rotors. And I do not want to see your repair bill for changing those rotors.
Hmm.
But that's just me.
Now, do you or would you like the parking assistance?
I have that. I like it.
Um, Here's the thing, right?
Hmm.
For me personally, I would use it one time because the car parks itself. After that, for me, the novelty goes away instantly and I would never use it again. Unfortunately, in Mercedes Benz, I don't know how true this is, but someone told me that whether you pay for it or not, the front end comes across all vehicles. So you might as well pay for the functionality since you're getting that front end unit anyway.
Hmm.
Yeah, they go on all of them. As a matter of fact, the self parking, the guy, the tech guy, he was like, use it more as a novelty than you do it
Right.
as you try to get it. Try to use it every time. He said just use it as a novelty because when you hit the button, sometimes it may not pick up that open Parker sensor. Sometimes, so that's why he was saying sometimes it will get it, sometimes it won't. So he said use it more of a novelty than. But you might as well pay for it because all of them coming with those front sensors. So
Exactly. I mean, and what I'm saying is not so much the sensors, but the front end. So
front,
that
yeah.
the self parking system, that front end, because the car steers itself. So that is a self contained unit. So you may as well pay the charge for the self for the self parking functionality because whether you want it or not, whether you use it or not, all the vehicles have the unit anyway. So I don't see the sense in having the unit but not having the self parking functionality, whether you use it or not.
Hmm.
That's my logic. So you know what?
This
I
seems
see a
very.
comment in the
Go
chat.
ahead.
I was gonna answer it, but you know what? It's so ridiculous. I'm just not. I'm gonna totally ignore that comment. I'm sorry, Lex. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, hold on. What was the comment?
Uh oh.
So somebody says I always change pads and rotors at the same time. I don't know what vehicle you're driving or your driving style, but if you have to change your rotors at every brake change, that's on you.
Oh
Rotors should
yeah,
last 2 to 3 or even 4 or 5 brake changes.
yeah,
Unless you're driving a Japanese car. The Japanese are notorious for putting soft rotors on their cars. But even then, you should not be changing rotors every single brake change. That's ridiculous to me. But
yeah.
whatever.
I actually turn my rotors too. That's just me. But yeah, that's yeah. Don't even waste your time, man. Just like Space Cowboy yesterday talking about the electric engine, man. Hey, it's the peanut gallery sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is hey man, this is a sharp car. I see the bill added up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sharp car, man. For that price, I think I like the GT4 for a little bit more money. But yeah, this is a sharp car, man.
Uh,
Yeah,
pers-
I don't know if you can put the GT4 in the same category as this.
Yeah,
Mostly because this
it's
is more of a cruise. This is more of a, high speed cruiser rather than
all
a pocket rocket like the
rocket.
GT4.
Yeah, track weapon. Yeah, absolutely. No,
Personally,
different.
I can, you know what? As I said, I have given serious, serious thought to getting out of my S4 and getting into this car. So when this car hit the American market back at the end of 2016, spec'd out the way it is, if memory serves correct, it was 83,000. So 87, to me that's a negligible difference.
Mm,
And this is pretty much the way I pretty much always expected. The same rims, the chrome, delete, the carbon fiber, those seats, the color, the belts. Only difference is for 2020, the grill looks different because 2016 and 2017, it had the single horizontal line. It didn't have those multiple vertical lines.
Hmm.
But outside of that, oh, and also I'd probably get the car jet black. But to me, this is a hot beast. This is more than likely going to be my next vehicle. Very
hey,
strong chance.
hey, Mike, how is the used values of these holding up for the 16 to 17 year old model?
Oh, you mean for the C63s?
Yes, yes.
Um, the thing about these AMGs is that they do depreciate pretty quickly. That's mostly because there's people who are looking for C63s. They want new. They don't want old. Um, so with that being said, I think they you can usually find them for significantly cheaper, but they're gonna have mileage on them, right? Because people who buy them do definitely drive them. They're not garage queens at all. Not like not like a AMG GTR. That's a garage queen. But
Yeah.
this in particular, this is something that you daily drive. So the ones that you're gonna find in the used market, man, are gonna have some form of mileage to them.
Can y'all hear me just fine?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I just switched Bluetooth because it
Hmm.
was dying. But yeah, it is best for you to get the C 63 new. They don't, those would be considered people's everyday car. So yeah, everything Mike was saying, the GTR, even these four-door GT, well, we won't be getting the 63, but we're getting the 53 in America. So they even say those are everyday driving. So they don't depreciate that much. They hold their value more than more than the BMW. That's a fact. So
Hmm. Let's throw a wild card in there.
Uh oh. Uh oh. Uh oh. Where is Mike going now? Wait, I thought Mikey wanted to cover the 190E 2.3 16V and the E30 M3.
No, we're gonna do that on another night.
Oh, okay, cool, cool, cool.
I want to look at BTC,
Oh,
BTC
B-
racing. Pay homage to it at least.
BTCCs.
As long as it's not BJC, like this other guy said, like that other yo-yo. All right, let me share my screen, and then we'll close out at 12. Um, so six-cylinder Ferrari.
Wow.
Alfa Romeo.
Basically, yeah, basically the engine block was designed by Ferrari. Um, I would say this isn't exactly muscles, probably a little bit more flaccid for a European car. Um,
Did you say flat? Did you say flaccid?
Glasses.
yeah,
Wow.
Flaccid flaccid is usually a word used to something else about 99% of the time.
Well, yeah,
Mike has been on fire the past few days.
yeah. I like it. I drove one. I like it. Let me see. Is this the Julia? No, this is no, this is the
Dude,
Quadrifoglio. Let me go to that. Okay, that's what we're looking for.
do you remember? I don't know how, because you're like what 6 years younger than me, Mike. So I don't know how old you
40.
were. Okay, 40. Yeah, I'm 47. So in the 80s, 87, 88, when the Milano came out,
Yeah,
that that was a hot joint back then. The
those
Alfa
are worth a
Romeo,
lot on the used market now. People
the
want those
Milano.
guys, man.
Really,
Yeah.
I love that car. But so now, it was replaced by the 164. So the Quattroporte, when the Alfa Romeo Quattroporte came out, I thought that was one of the most beautiful vehicles on the planet.
Mhm.
Come to find out, Alfa Romeos live at their dealer. Mechanically, they are horrible vehicles. I wouldn't touch one.
That is pretty much the sentiment on the new versions of Alfa Romeo, or just that was kind of with the older stuff.
No, pretty much been a thing with Alfa Romeos going back to the early 2000s.
Okay. Mm. Yeah.
Damn, so much high hopes for it. Damn.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't.
yeah. Go ahead.
No, no, my God.
No, I was just gonna say that when I went to the dealership, there was surprisingly quite a few people looking for these. So
Mm.
um, and they usually share their dealerships with Ferrari and stuff like that too. So um, because I thought that they had a coupe, but they don't. Um, but they only had a four door. So
So now, has this replaced the Quattroporte?
oh, that's a Maserati.
Right, right. I'm sorry. I'm right. I don't know why. I don't. Bro. For some reason, my brain always gets Maserati and Alfa Romeo confused. I don't know
Well,
why I do
same
that.
engine.
Well,
Yeah.
well, because it's the Ferrari that got you confused because they all go to the Ferrari.
Right.
Because they
Well,
all
Ferrari's in the Alpha.
alphas, yeah. So
Yeah, owns that group, right?
Yeah, but doesn't Fiat own them all?
Yeah, Fiat owns the
Yeah.
whole group. Yeah,
Yeah,
Alpha.
Well, the history behind it is that Alpha was actually before Ferrari, and then Ferrari was born out of Alpha.
right. Because Enzo raced for Alfa Romeo, then he
Yep.
left and started his
yeah.
own company
Hmm.
in '47.
Yep.
And then he was going to sell the company to Henry Ford II, but then he backed out of the deal at the last second because they wanted to control the Formula One program and the racing program, and he said no, and he backed out of the deal. And then next day he sold the company to Fiat, and that's how the GT40 was born, to beat Enzo Ferrari at his own game or at Le Mans.
There's a movie coming out about that Ford versus Ferrari.
About Ken Miles, yes,
Yeah. Hmm.
because everybody remembers the GT40. Everybody knows Mario Andretti and Carroll Shelby and Bob Bondurant, but a lot of people don't remember Ken Miles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That
The
So they,
unsung hero.
so although this is the most expensive, well, I shouldn't say most expensive. It has the smallest motor out of all, right? Six cylinder, but it has the same amount of horsepower, but less cylinders. And from all the reviews I've seen from JMM or JM, that's his name. Uh,
JWW.
JWW is good too. I like him. Um, seen before glass. Everyone seems to like it in the enthusiast community. So
Mm.
um, I don't know. They're supposed to come out with a coupe later this year or January. There's supposed to be a coupe coming out. So
The Julia Coupe.
Hmm.
yeah, that's supposed to take on the C63.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
this.
I heard they were coming out with a Alfa Romeo supercar, man, that was supposed to be like half hybrid, hybrid, half electric, half gas, for like 0100s, man. I have been hearing that rumor for a while, but I haven't seen anything about it.
Well,
Wow.
remember they came out with the Alpha 8C. That was a
Yeah,
completely
that was,
carbon fiber.
that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that was a beautiful car.
Yeah,
yeah.
it drove like crap, but it was completely carbon fiber.
Mm.
It
Well,
didn't have any sort of tuning to it at all
well,
from the suspension standpoint.
for what it's worth, Jeremy Clarkson likes this car.
Yeah,
Jimmy Clarkson.
Dude, I love those. I love those guys.
yeah. So here's my perspective before we close out, man. I like the GT 350R if I was buying American. I like the C63 if I was going European. Um, if I had to daily drive, it would be the obviously it'd be the C63. If I was gonna have a if I was probably about 2 years younger or 5 years younger, and I was still in my bad boy racer phase, I would probably go for that GT 350R with some snow tires just to survive the winter.
I would have to say I pretty much agree with everything Mike just said. I really have nothing else to add.
I mean, those are solid choices, man, based on what we looked at today. I don't have any problem with that. Yeah, the C63 would, as a daily driver, would probably make the most sense.
Yeah, very strong chance, brother. When I get out of my Audi S4, I'm gonna get into that AMG C63S coupe because I almost got one when it came out, but instead I got the Audi S4. Price hasn't changed much after it's the base price has gone up 10, funny enough. We spec'd it out just now. Price has only gone up an extra 5,000. To me, that's nothing. I was always gonna spec the car that way anyway. So
What made, I'm curious, what made you get the S4 over that?
funny thing is this, right? So I don't like four door cars. I love coupes. I've always owned coupes. So I went to the Audi dealer to look at the S5, and I liked it, and I was going to test drive it. And I asked about the moonroof. He said, "Oh, it doesn't have a moonroof. It only pops up." I said, "That's an absolute deal killer for me. Any vehicle I have has to have a moonroof that opens. My Chevy Tahoe has a moonroof that opens. I will only purchase a vehicle that has a moonroof that opens." So he
I
said,
think they call that a sky roof now.
yeah, it pops up.
Yeah.
So he said, "Well, I do have this S4." I said, "Well, what's that?" And I said, "Dude, it has four doors. I don't like sedans." He said, "Yeah, but the size, the proportions, look at the interior." And I got in it, bro. I don't know what came over me. I fell in love with the car, and I bought it. Six-speed manual, carbon fiber interior, the sports seats, red inserts, the stitching. I love it, and it's charcoal gray, and I haven't looked back. It's the first four-door vehicle that four-door sedan that I bought. But when I get out of it, yeah, that AMG is making a very strong case to finally getting in.
And
Pharaoh.
y'all already know my decision. I ain't gotta say it. AMG all day.
Yeah, I definitely like that AMG. I think that I mean that interior it just blows everything away. Even I mean the Audi interior is top notch, but that Benz interior is on a different planet, man.
That Benz interior is, they put a lot of effort into it, man. You know, what can I say? They definitely put a lot of effort into it, and it's designed right. It really stands out. I gotta give them their proper respect on that. Proper respect, for sure.
The
Hey, Nagone, what's
consigliere
going
is
on,
in the
Nagone?
building.
What's going on, y'all?
Good
Y'all talking
evening.
all this European car stuff and all that. I'm tired.
You missed the American muscle. They're going.
Well,
We
I
were
tell you, the only
absolutely
thing I'm
talking
trying to
about
get right now, I don't know if I can get it, because their production line is not running them right now. The demons, and see if I can get one over here. I went up here to Central Avenue, Jeep and Chrysler, and they're seeing if they possibly can get an order, but they want about 10 grand down. Let's see if you can. They may get it above sticker, so I don't know. I don't know what I can even get the car for.
it. Now,
So,
I thought Chrysler only made that car for the 1 year, and that was it.
well, they're saying that they're having another limited production run this year.
Okay, okay.
And that was it. And they're saying if we can, that's the only car that I want to get. I'm talking to my boy Demonology offline, and he doesn't know anything about what's going on. He's got his car, and he's got some. He's doing some fixing. He may do some mods on his car as well. He's been running the car modless at this stage, even though the car is already pretty much a race car. But that's it, man. I'd like to see if I can get a car like that and see if I can take it down to the quarter miler and see if I can get that thing under 10 seconds.
Well,
That's what I like to do.
they did say that they were going to produce as many as the customers demand.
So yeah, well, they say that, but I'm just right now they're all wonky about it. So I'm not hearing a lot. I know people want the car. Um, so they said they were going to run another limited production run. That's what I have because there is demand for the vehicle. Um, but you have to look at it. To me, it's a street car, streetable, but really, that's a drag car. It's really a street. It's really a race car. It really is a drag. It's a quarter miler. It's a drag car. That's what that shit is. You're really taking that thing out to the track. You're taking it out to the track, man.
Now, do you take it there with all seasons or?
Man, anybody who does that is out of their minds. You're a fool. You're a fool. You're an absolute idiot. You
Well, it
know,
says that it comes with high performance all seasons. Make that make sense to me.
I mean, they do that to kind of keep the price of the car down a little bit. You know what I mean? Because if you're really going to run that thing, you got to get full racing slicks. I suggest Mickey Thompson's. The MTs, but other there are other manufacturers out there that would produce a fairly decent drag. Dregs are tire, but um, that's strictly for slicks, man. You got to put racing slicks on those. You got to take the front seat out. You got to have the roll cage. You got to take everything out of it. The back seats. You got to take everything out of the car that you're able to do, and and get on the right track. The track you get on, the rubber's got to be laid down really good. The track has got to be right, so you get no wheel spin, so you can launch, bite, and take off. And get no spin, and then you might be able to get it there. A lot of people that I know, a few people that I know who have demons, they haven't got maybe 10.2, 10.3s, but they haven't gotten into the nines. They had one woman who was able to get it. She was lighting the ass herself, but she was on a great track, and all the stars aligned properly. And I think she ran the nine.
hey, Nagone, don't.
Yeah, go ahead.
When I've been to the drag strip with my cousin, I see they spray down that stickum stuff, so the cars get better traction. Wouldn't that
Yeah,
help?
it's supposedly, but really, what comes out, they put the stickum down, but it's really under the track as well. It's the track that you really have to. That the track has to really be laid down with good rubber. You really have to roll that thing out with a great fucking roller on that thing. You really got
Okay.
to roll that rubber out on that track, and it really comes down to the track prep. The stickum is only so good. That stuff also depending on the kind of heat that you may have on the track, that shit gets a little slippery. So and then these cars are kicking out so much torque. You can easily spin those wheels, man. You want to bike, get almost no wheel spin, that car leaps because that car should, they say, from a standing start, you should be able to kind of get that nose up in the air. The front wheel should come off the ground. And
Yeah,
that's car coming straight from the factory. You
that's
can launch,
insane.
you can launch this thing and it can, the skinnies are off the skinnies are off the ground. That's live when you hit it like that. Now you know what I mean? Skinnies are off the ground. So I'm just sitting there saying, damn, So I definitely want to play with that. If I'm gonna play around, I know you guys are all in the McLarens and all that stuff, and all those cars are definitely, those cars are total studs, no question about it. But like I said, I'm sorry. I know guys are not gonna like me, but I'm
Well,
all
hey,
American muscle man. That's how
Nagone,
that's how I rolls. But anyway, go ahead.
Nagone, all right, you missed earlier. We were talking about the Chevy Camaro, the ZL1, which to
Yeah,
me is a beast. I like that car a lot. I
it's
like
it's
that
close
car.
to the vet. I mean, it's running basically the same engine almost.
Yeah,
It's a little heavier.
and
The geometry's a little bit different. It's how the car is laid out a little bit different, but it's close to that. If you want a fast Camaro, that is. But to me, if you're gonna go to Camaro to vet, I'm going to vet all day a week. I'm not grabbing a Camaro for that.
so what are your thoughts on the GT350R, the Mustang?
Mm, gotta see it run a little bit more. The numbers on it look really good. Looks strong. I remember the GT500 when it first came out. I was looking at messing with that. Was exceedingly unimpressed with its weight and its clunkiness. Its car just wasn't what it said it was. You really had to really tune that car right to get it to run right, and you had to take it to a tuner once you bought the goddamn thing. So I wasn't really impressed with that. Um, you got to see how this thing really runs, man. I mean, it looks strong. The GT, those are. It's a good line of car, but as far as I'm concerned, I think the jury's out. I got to see how hard this thing runs. To me, the whole Ford line, the Mustang, they came out there with the Super Snake and all that. They did the GT 500 and all that, and I just wasn't impressed with what they really had. They had the GTR. They had that came out that ran pretty decent, but it was light. Race car. Type of performance, but light in the ass still. I thought the Audis and all of them could take that car out pretty easily. I don't know, man. I don't know. We just got to see. Like I said, we have to see. I don't want to slam the car right. I don't want to slam it. I haven't driven it. I think I know one guy who may have one, but I haven't seen the car run hard. I've seen him on video. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping it's not a dog. That's all I can say. I don't know if I'm sounding iffy on it, but I'm just
I,
you know.
yeah, if you can handle the interior, man, you're a brave man.
Yeah, the interior. Well, I mean, if you're technically messing with a quote unquote race car and you suppose that's speedable, the interior is something that you actually the more sparse and the more race car-ish it looks, that's what you're buying that as well. So you're not buying a gorgeous, kind of really, nice interior. So I'm not
Yeah,
so much worried about the interior. I'd be more concerned about the performance of the vehicle. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah. The Dodge Neon in the Intrepid, hollered back and said,
You said the Dodge Neon.
Neon and the Intrepid. Oh my God.
no, I would probably go as far back as to say maybe the Eagle Talon.
Wow.
Oh, the Eagle Talon. God damn.
Shots fired.
Woo. That's
Eagle
rough.
Talon.
But Paul, what do you think? What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about the three? What are you thinking about it?
As far as what, bro?
Performance? Is it you think this thing? You think it's a killer? What's your opinion on the car?
Oh, I like it from what I've seen. I like it. I like the styling a lot. Obviously, as far as the track numbers and what the car is and what it's going to do, I have a bit of a wait and see attitude, as
No,
you
that's my
do.
view.
As you do, I want to see it in the hands of more people. I want to see more track numbers. I want to see more track data. I want to see a following say that, you know what, this car is the real deal. So until I see that, I'm a bit more of a wait and see stance at the moment.
Yeah, like I said, I was disappointed in the other big killers that they said they were supposed to have, and
Hmm.
just reason why I like what Dodge did. Dodge came out and said, "We're gonna give you what you want. We're gonna
Oh
give you
yeah.
what you want. We're gonna give you what you want. We're gonna give you what you want."
You,
And
you know
that's
what?
what
You
they
know what?
did.
You know what? I honestly, I really think that. See, I really think that Dodge. I can't say that they shook up the world, but I think that they did something very unique because
Yeah.
it's a market that really they're like the only player. But I give a lot of credit to what they did. I have a lot of respect for the Demon, for what it is, the R&D, everything behind it. I mean, me personally, I have nothing but good things to say about that Demon. It is an absolute monster. No, nobody else does what that thing does as far as a turnkey solution. For you to run with that car, you're straight like what my cousin and his friends do. You're building a drag racer from the ground up. So yeah, you're in the nines, and they run to the track and they wrench in their own cars and they're putting in their crate motors and everything else. But if you want a turnkey solution, it's literally only the Demon, and you know what? You gotta respect that.
Only thing I said, the only thing you have to do with that car, in my view, is throw away the tires they gave you
Right.
and go get the proper racing tires for that car.
Hmm. Hmm.
In my view, I think it's the Mickey Thompsons. That's just my opinion. Others may have other views. Fair enough. I'm not here to argue that.
Yeah.
Um, get on the right track, and out of the showroom, you've got basically a 10-second car.
Yeah.
That's what you got, man. That shit is crazy.
Take out the back seats.
You
Mhm.
have to take the back seats out. You got to take the front. Yeah, you got to take the passenger side seat out too. You got to take all of that. And if it was up to me as well, I would actually well then you modify the car because I would take anything that's metal on that thing on the body. I'd take all that shit off as well and replace
Wow.
it.
Yeah,
you know, and just
let me address this in the chat, man. It's interesting that Bullet Two Tone brought up Mitsubishi Eclipse. I was at Cars and Coffee one day, man, and this dude. I mean, you can bring whatever car you want. This dude showed up with a Mitsubishi Eclipse Spider automatic transmission. Says, "Oh yeah, I drive a sports car." He pulled up with that,
Wow.
and I'm not one to judge, man. To each his own, man. But he had this bit, he had the K&N filter in there, and he took off, man. He he took off, man, and then he did a J turn by pulling up the emergency brake around the corner. And it was like, dude, like seriously?
it's like a little brat running around. I can't even take a test, but I tell you what, a car I do I still take seriously. Japanese made a real killer, man. That Toyota Supra, and you could put almost anything in that car and turn that
Oh,
into
the two Jay
and
Z.
and you could turn that shit into a supercar if you
Yeah,
wanted
the
to.
old school Super ain't
The
nothing to
old
play
school
with.
Supra, those cars ran
Oh
freaking
wait,
hard.
wait,
I mean,
Lagone. Are
and
you
if you put some
talking the
decent mods
two
on that car,
Jay
that car was
Z
amazing.
or the 7M?
7M, and the JJ. I
Oh,
mean,
the
both of them.
seven M.
I thought were pretty good, but yeah, both of them were good. Supers, man.
Oh
The
no
bad
no
boys were
no
good, man.
no. I agree. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then they're still out there. You got guys still out there who modding them
Oh
out,
yeah.
and they still run hard. They they run pretty hard.
yeah, they go for big money now.
Yeah, it's almost it's almost kind of like what was the 1990 the 90 was it 96 97 Cobras that they had that came out that you could really that were kind of stacked up pretty good. You could put some pretty good mods on it. A lot of guys were throwing the Kenny Bells on that. They were taking that Eaton blower off and putting the Kenny Bells on that bad boy, and they were gobbling folks alive. Those cars are going for quite a bit now, I think. But those are pretty good. That's about the best I think Mustang ever did. And you had to modify it. You didn't modify it right. That car was was a
Yeah,
pure savage.
yeah. I mean, we talked about the we went tonight as far as the Cadillac
It's
CTS-V.
Well, I have the CTS. They wanted to give me the CTS-V, and they wanted me to get the High Line, and I was like, I've been around, I'm here in Westchester. I just know they're looking to fuck everybody up in here, and it's just like I know I'm going to be running like a savage with some of these guys out here. Just run like a savage. I know what that's going to be all about. Because as soon as they see the CTS-V, they see the V on the side. You know what's going down. Everybody in the block is coming to fuck with you, and the CTS-V is a stone cold savage, and
Supposed to be a four-door Corvette, full
that's
car to the
it's
purpose.
a stone cold savage. Bad boys running in the low 11s. You may even get the 10s with that. The car is, and it's very trackable. You can put it on the track, move around with it pretty decently. They all the rear end problems they have with the car they fixed. So it's a it's a
GM
savage car, man.
said they built that car to go head to head against the BMW M5.
Yeah, for sure. They call it M5 Killer, but I don't know if it's M5
Yeah,
Killer.
I'm not
Yeah,
buying that, but okay.
yeah, exactly. I'm not. The M5 is a beast. I can't front that car gets down. So I mean, like I said, there are a lot of fast ass cars out here.
You
So
know what, Mike? You know what?
Hmm.
I'm sitting here thinking a '98, the Mitsubishi Eclipse. So I think we kind of covered this either the other day or across the weekend. When you're starting out, okay, that's the kind of car you're gonna run. But when you leave, when you graduate from the JV and you move up to the varsity, and you want to run with the big boys. Now you're talking turnkey solutions. You're talking better builds and quality, better R&D. It's a completely different experience. So when you're a boy racer, you're gonna run a Mitsubishi Eclipse or the old school for those of us who are showing our age, the Mitsubishi Starion. Okay,
Oh man,
all right.
Starion, I remember that. I remember that
Yes,
car.
sir. But when you graduate to the big leagues, all right, you're moving away from things, from those wannabe grandma cars with a big old hairdresser sitting on top of the motor.
oh the little hump.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the Super was the best shit those guys came out with. That shit was crazy. That car is still a beast. Those old Supers, that was their best shit. I mean, you could mod that car out, and you could put 1,000 horsepower in that car
I
and run it.
still
And run it.
prefer, if I had a choice, between the Supra and the Audi five-cylinder
Or Quattro.
Quattro hatchback, man. Oh my God, man.
Quattro hatchback.
Yeah, man, that thing was on another level, man.
Can I have both?
You can have both, but if you only have one garage, man, you Honda SOL. You run the risk of somebody coming by and jacking you for it, man.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's true. But
But I
Well,
still I still see that out here now, man. Guys are still getting Hondas, leaving them on for cinder blocks. So
but you know what? When it comes to Japanese cars, to me, it comes down to the two JZ Supra and the RB26 or the RB34 Skyline. Of those two, my preference is the R34 Skyline. The
Skyline
RB26
all
Det
day long,
motor. To
all day.
me, the Godzilla is what it is. I respect the two JZ Supra. I never liked it, but I respect it. I can't say a bad word about it. But for me, the R34 Skyline, the RB26 Det motor, and as of 2020, the R34 Skyline is road legal in America, as is the S15 Sylvia. Those two cars are beautiful.
The first time I saw Skylines is when I was out in Hawaii, and they had them out there, and them dudes were running, and they were left sided. They were left
Right
right,
sided
side.
right.
seat left sided seat cars, man. They were driving those shits in Hawaii, and they hadn't even really hit the mainland yet. And I was like, look at this shit. The way those cars were sounding, I thought those Skylines were. were real sexy. But I was in Hawaii. That's where I saw them. I didn't see them on the mainland for a while until. But that's where I first started seeing those cars out in Hawaii. Skyhorns.
Yes, sir.
You know, large Japanese population out there. So they kind of own Oahu and that whole. They really kind of own that island. I hate to say it, even though they bombed it, they certainly took it over. They certainly attacked it. They bombed it, but they came and slowly took it over. After they lost the war, which is really
Oh
funny.
no.
But yeah, so they were getting all high end Japanese cars out there. Out in
R
Oahu.
But,
thirty four
but
Skyline, Nürburgring Spec V in Bayside Blue. It's a wrap.
Bullet Tooth Tone in the chat says there was 200 on the dash on the Eclipse.
200 what?
Maybe
Yeah.
200,
Okay.
maybe 200 kilometers. I don't think it was
200
miles.
200 kms. Yeah, 200 kms. Because you damn sure wouldn't look under 200 miles an hour. The
Nah,
Eclipse.
not no
Oh,
MPH. Hell no.
Hell
Shit.
no. Hell
Nah,
no.
a little bit too much Tyrese, man, and
A little too much Tyrese.
a little too much Tyrese in your diet today, bro.
yeah. Yeah. A little too much
uh,
Fast and Furious today, there, bro.
so I know you guys are loving them European cars, and
Oh
like
no,
I was
no,
never a
no, no,
giant Japanese car fan though. You know.
no, man. We decided that the Mustang GT 350R, man, is better than the M4 tonight. So
You think
we made,
so?
yeah,
Based on
oh yeah,
what?
man, that thing is leaps
Based
and bounds better. Price performance ratio.
price
Um,
performance? Okay, okay.
yeah, price
I
performance
mean,
ratio.
is it giving the performance as it says it is? Consistently. You know,
I,
the
well,
biggest disappointment.
it's a street legal track car.
Yeah, street legal track, but is it giving the performance that they say it's going to give? Is it giving the performance that it says it's going to give? Is it giving the performance that it says it's going to give? That's why I keep asking. It's giving that. It's going to give it.
Fair,
That's my
fair,
question.
fair point. Fair
So,
point.
I mean,
We'll
Stang
see.
to me has. I've been very disappointed with some of the shit that they've come out with. Just disappointed. It's supposed to be high end, killer, and then you get out there and
They've been
you got
heavy
the
and
Audi
slow.
R8s and all them fucking, spanking and slapping them like bad babies at they christening. And I'm sitting there saying, how is this? I don't know. So I
Because
don't know.
they're heavy and slow.
That's the
Mustangs are
problem, man.
heavy
Power
and
to weight
slow.
ratio, not well balanced, not
They're
balanced as well.
heavy and slow.
Well,
Big heavy front ends going in the corners, with a lot of drink. I just, I don't know.
well, GT
You
350R is a lot
know,
lighter than the other models. So
Hmm.
that's really supposed to be a turnkey track car
okay,
solution. Well,
let's.
I've only seen one out in public here in Boston, but I don't hear too many people complaining about them being crap for the most part. The ones who if you go to like the Mustang forums, I haven't heard anything.
Let's see out where I am. What we have McLarens. Um, I've seen two Bugattis. I've seen those. I don't know what they're doing around driving that shit around here. Dudes down in Scarsdale proper dipping around. Let me see what else I've seen. Um,
Scarsdale? You better
yeah.
not go see any doctors.
Say that again.
You better not go see any doctors.
No, I know this area
Any
very
diet
well.
doctors.
In fact, Jay Z's house and them was not too far from mine when they were out here for a while, and they sold it and left.
No, I was. It was a really bad joke about the whole Scarsdale
But
murder thing
you got a
for
lot of real nouveau
aliens.
rich guys, and they love buying cars.
Yeah.
So I've seen some pretty heavy duty stuff. Let me see what else. What else have I seen? Of course, you see your obligatory. You see your. You've seen a couple of Hellcats, BMW M's, M5. Let me see what else.
Cars
Of course,
expensive, bro.
of course, the AMGs. Seen a few of those. I mean, I'm out here dipping around, and but the kids tend, a few Ferraris,
Uh-huh.
and the Porsches, and some, and then the Cayennes, of course. And I'm trying to see what else. But a lot of these kids are driving around the American muscle cars. They're kicking around in these Challengers and shit, and they're running crazy up and down the roads. And the cops are just like, yeah, come on, it's time. It's time to eat, fellas. So yeah. So I've seen a lot. There's a lot of stuff out here. There's a lot of stuff running around. But I haven't seen GTR 350. Haven't seen it. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that out here at all. I haven't seen that here at all.
Yeah, it definitely looks good in person.
Uh,
It does sound good too, but like I said to Paul earlier, man, the amount of noise that comes out of the exhaust system, at 6 o'clock in the morning, man, I don't know if I really want to wake up my neighbors. You know, there's no way to turn it off either. It's like it's always on.
I mean, it's great. Great cars sound good. I love the way cars sound, but I'm about if you're gonna really get a performance car, it's got to perform. That's my view. Mustangs, in my view, once you've modified them and done a lot of different things to them, you can get them to really roll the right way. But coming out of the showroom, I've been relatively unimpressed with some of its performance. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, anybody can get a fast car. It's just,
Hmm.
how does it perform? Coming into the sharp corners, you get understeer, oversteer. What are you dealing with in that kind of vehicle? You have to be a fucking pro to drive the thing halfway decently, or can someone who's got halfway decent skills can throw the car around a little bit? Um, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. Mustangs. I have been unimpressed with some of their performance. And some of their killer cars they were supposed to come out there with dogs, in my view. And like I said, that 500, that shit was. I thought that was the biggest pig going. And then they came out that. Did you guys remember that ridiculous Super Snake they came out with 750 horsepower?
Yeah, the Shelby Super Snake.
Yeah, that piece of crap. You know what I mean?
It's
It
the
was.
perfect. It's the perfect car for the reptiles of the manosphere. All right. With that being said, man, let's get out of here, man.
Dude,
Thank
you
you all. Thank you all for joining us, man. And hit the like button if you have not already done so, man.
Oh,
Share the video if
shots
possible.
fired.
Hit that notification bell so you get all the updates from the Black Brain Trust as we migrate to a new platform this weekend. And make sure you download Zoom to your phone or your desktop device so you can join in on the new platform. So with that being said, we are out.
Alrighty.
So